for a better tomorrow and hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Let's celebrate our freedom. Mark Cox here, inviting you to join me September 15th at Freedom Fest at Sugar Creek Winery in Defiance. It's going to be a celebration of our great nation in St. Charles County, the reddest county in the state. They're going to raffle off an AR-15 and honor local fallen patriot Jared Schmitz with a special bourbon. Again, tickets are just $50. You can get yours right now while they last at stcharlesgop.com. That's stcharlesgop.com.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
Angie makes it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get your home projects done well, from repair to remodel. Book instantly at an upfront price or request quotes from multiple pros. Get started on the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy to be with you this beautiful Thursday afternoon. What's going on? In the city of New York City, there is a migrant crisis going on, and there is something interesting happening within the Democratic Party. It's happening to anybody who is anybody who's in the city, around the city, visiting the city. You are now experiencing something that many of our border cities have experienced before. Brad, I'm going to try to play this clip again here, so let's make sure it's up. The mayor from the city, he is former law enforcement, he's a black man. He had a lot of very good I don't want to say he had support from right-leaning people in the election, but when he was running, there were a lot of people in New York City who were like, he's not the worst that we could have. And compare it to Bill de Blasio, Mayor Adams could be a great improvement. Listen to what he was saying yesterday.
Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. One time we were just getting Venezuela. Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City.
Mayor Adams is saying some pretty stark things, some pretty concerning things. If you're living in New York City or if you work in New York City, you know all of this already. It's like if you're somebody who has to frequent downtown St. Louis. Tucker and I don't know what's the street between Olive, where we are, Tucker and Olive, and then Washington, Tucker and Washington. There's a street right there, and it's part of it's blocked off because they're doing construction on that building.
Yeah.
And then there's if you're coming into town from the Stan Musial Bridge, which I do, you can turn left, you can go straight. There's a stoplight there. Nobody stops at the red lights. Or they treat them like they're stop signs. They just pull up, they look both ways, probably, and then they just go in the middle of the day.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't 3 a.m. at night. This is 11:10 a.m. on a Thursday morning. There is a sense of lawlessness and carelessness. I mean, truthfully, are the police in St. Louis going to take the time to pull over red light runners in downtown St. Louis?
Man, I'm not even sure they have the staffing to be able to do that.
Exactly. And if they don't have the staffing to do that, then what else is slipping through the cracks?
Mm-hmm.
God bless the men and women who serve on the St. Louis police force. God bless each one of their families for knowing what these individuals are being sent into every day. And I'm not talking about the middle of the night. I'm talking about every single minute that ticks by on the clock. It is lawless in downtown St. Louis. At that same intersection, you're surrounded by these big, tall buildings, and they are graffitied from the bottom up to midway to the top, and then you get to the top, and there's graffiti. It's just, every day when I drive into downtown St. Louis, I look at this and go, this is so embarrassing. If somebody were to come visit downtown St. Louis and see that, if I put myself in the shoes of somebody who was visiting, maybe for a conference at the America Center, maybe for a work meeting, oh, let's meet downtown, it'll be great. It's embarrassing. It's kind of frightening. And I do it every day. And, aside from being carjacked once and having a gun pointed in my face on the bridge once, I've been fine. Rear-ended. And somebody drove away after they rear-ended me in traffic in the middle of the day. In St. Louis, if you're here all the time, you just kind of understand how things work. You know that if you're going through an intersection and you've got a green light, that doesn't necessarily mean cross traffic isn't going to come through. You just know that. If you don't know that and you come visit downtown St. Louis, it's going to make you grip your steering wheel so tight you're not going to want to come back anytime soon. But that's just the way it is. That's just the way we've accepted ruining this beautiful city that is rich in business, rich in food, rich in culture, rich in art, rich in architecture. We are just pissing the whole thing away because I don't even know. What is the mayor see in this city right now that she wants to protect and preserve? It's not the city. If anything, maybe it's her political career. But it's not the people who visit here. It's not the people who live here, because it's a hellhole. And it absolutely shouldn't be. Go back to New York City. If you understand, if you've been to New York City, I've only been once, and I was like 100% tourist the whole time I was in New York City. I did all of the touristy things. We were there for 4 days, 3 nights, I think, 4 days, maybe 2 nights, 3 days. I don't remember. And we just tried to get all the touristy stuff out of the way. And when I was in New York City, this big city, I kind of expected to experience some weird stuff happening on the street. I don't know. Is that part of the culture? Maybe it is. Well, right now in New York City, they have 6 figures of migrants who have been shuffled on buses from the southern border into the city. And now Mayor Adams has to do something about it, and he can't. They're bursting at the seams. And it's a tragedy. I don't feel sorry for Mayor Adams, but I'm watching how he's handling this, and I'm thinking to myself, if he is able to bridge the gap that exists between this Democrat Party and common sense for the people of New York City, he's going to be able to do something that is going to affect such a great number of people so publicly that it might actually shift the narrative on this issue that we have at our southern border. And I will remind you that we have, since Joe Biden got elected, been talking to Jim Carafano weekly, where he has said that this is the issue that people will be voting on in November 2024. Brad, we were talking to Jim Carafano in January of 2021 and he was saying the issue that will drive people to the polls will be the southern border.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said, that the first candidate to promise to deport all of the illegal immigrants will be the one that wins, because we can't support them here. We just can't do it.
You and I both been to the border. You and I both were able to see from McAllen, Texas and Hidalgo County how adapted they are to the situation. And what they've created for themselves, the way they cope, is they've made themselves a pass-through, not a destination.
Right.
Even though there are certainly many people who are working and making a living on the north side of that southern border who may not have a legal status. There's no way that this issue becomes even remotely bipartisan if cities like New York City don't have to suffer from it just the way everybody else is.
Right. It has to be in everybody's face. They have to be able to see what is happening, how in the name of virtue, we're treating people like commodities. We're using them to get votes. And I say we, I think you guys know who I'm talking about. But the idea that this is somehow the compassionate thing to do, to encourage people to make that arduous journey, to invest their entire life savings to criminal organizations, to get them from whatever their home country is to the United States, only to push them across the border, and then what? Go on a bus and you've got no citizenship, no name, no nothing, and you've got to try to figure out how you're going to make it. That's not the compassionate thing. The compassionate thing is to influence their country to be better so that they stay there and make their country better. It's not to encourage people to take all their family and all their kids and hand them over to coyotes and whatever happens to them on the way here, and then they get set at the border to distract Border Patrol so that everybody else can get across. That's not compassion. I don't know what everybody thinks that they're doing whenever they vote for policies like that or implement policies like this. This isn't the compassionate route. This is actually an evil route.
If you're voting that way, you are what Rush Limbaugh referred to as a low information voter. You've been told that your compassion will rest in that vote for other people. I've seen this quite a bit lately. People are talking about why they're liberal versus why they're conservative. And people are saying, I think to be liberal means that you care about other people other than yourself. And to be conservative is to believe that you should be independent and be able to have your own success. And it's like, oh my gosh, you don't understand it at all. You completely don't get it. And you're being used. Here's more from the mayor of New York City.
And everyone is saying it's New York City's problem. Every community in this city is going to be impacted. We have a $12 billion deficit that we're going to have to cut. Every service in this city is going to be impacted. All of us. And so I say to you, as I turn it over to you, this is some of the most educated, some of the most knowledgeable, probably more of my commissioners and deputy commissioners and chiefs live in this community. So as you ask me a question about migrants, tell me what role you played. How many of you organized to stop what they're doing to us? How many of you were part of the movement to say We're seeing what this mayor is trying to do, and they're destroying New York City.
They're destroying New York City. And he's asking people to stand up against what they are trying to do to us. Who's the they in Mayor Adams' sentence there? Is it the Republican governors who have decided, you know what, I don't think we should have to shoulder this entire burden of an open border that the guy in charge in the Oval Office has said, oh, yeah, you'll just have to deal with this. If it's those Republican governors that Mayor Adams is mad at, he's not digging deep enough. But he has pushed back on Joe Biden. He has pushed back on the administration, and he has said, we got to do something about this. This is a Democrat mayor of New York City. This cannot be understated. His last clip.
It's going to come to your neighborhoods. All of us are going to be impacted by this. I said it last year when we had 15,000. I'm telling you now, with 110,000, the city we knew we're about to lose. And we're all in this together, all of us. Staten Island is saying, send them out to Manhattan. Manhattan is saying, send them out to Queens. Queens is saying, send them out to Brooklyn. No, it's not the game we can play. Open the floor up.
Mayor Adams gets it, and he only gets it because it has met his doorstep. There are a lot of issues in this country right now that if they're not on your doorstep, you can cover your ears, you can close your eyes, you can cower in the corner and pretend like these issues aren't important, that they don't matter. These issues will be at your doorstep in the form of undocumented individuals who are coming here. We have no record of who they are, what their interests are. In the midst of a lot of people who have been seeking out a better life, there are people here who don't have the right motives. The people who do have the right motives need to be redirected into a system that welcomes them in through the process that the United States of America sets forth for them to enter, period. And if it's not the people who are coming here that will find its way into your life story, the fentanyl will. You will lose a child. You will lose a grandchild. You will lose a neighbor. You will lose a family friend. You will lose somebody to this evil drug that has made its way across our southern border, manufactured by our greatest enemy in China through a porous border that Joe Biden cannot seem to care enough about to close. The mayor of New York City, speaking in these terms, saying the city we knew we are about to lose. Well, folks, the country we know we are about to lose. And we have to be willing to come together and understand that protecting what we have in the United States of America is the only way that we get to help these kind of people who want to come to our shores for a better life. We don't have that to provide for them if we don't protect what they are seeking out. I'm praying that Mayor Adams continues to move in this direction and challenge the status quo within his own party and to be a leader in doing it. If he mends this gap, he'll be president of the United States one day. We'll revisit this conversation a little bit later. I want to know what your thoughts are on it. So you can go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and tell me if you believe Mayor Adams, if you think that this is a crack in the surface in order to actually resolve the biggest issue potentially actually facing our homeland right now is this open border situation on the Mexico-United States border. Let me know what you think there. We also have a YouTube live chat poll today. Who's going to go to jail first? Hunter Biden, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, or none of them? Go vote at the Annie Frey YouTube channel and let me know what you think. I'm going to ask Hans von Spakovsky when we come back, what's up with the plea deal? What's up with everything that Hunter Biden had nicely and neatly set aside for himself? And what happens next in that case? Hans von Spakovsky with us when we come back.
Ain't nobody looking back again.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
ClassicKitchenRefacing.com in St. Anne. I really was wowed when I visited the folks at Classic Kitchen Refacing and got to see the cabinets, the way they refinish. The cabinets that are in your kitchen right now, they make them look brand new, modern, absolutely stunning for such a fraction of the price of replacing them. If you've been thinking about upgrading your kitchen, Classic Kitchen Refacing online at ClassicKitchenRefacing.com can give you an estimate, be able to look at what you have right now and help you dream up that dream kitchen for an incredible reduction in price. If you've been wanting to update your kitchen cabinets, if you've been getting quotes, but you've put it off because, good grief, it's so incredibly expensive to replace all of that cabinetry, Classic Kitchen Refacing is waiting for your phone call, 314-739-1730. That's 314-739-1730. They can add backsplashes, hinges, pulls, all the hardware you need to keep it in that really modern, fresh look. Plus, they have countertops in granite and laminate to help pull off the final beautiful look. Do it for less with Classic Kitchen Refacing, 314-739-1730, online at ClassicKitchenRefacing.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA-MCO.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save up to 20% on a new HVAC system when you bundle it with attic insulation. 9 out of 10 homes are under insulated. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com. Hey, it's Annie. Join me at the 9th annual Madison County GOP Patriots Scramble Golf Tournament. It's Friday, September 15th. We're broadcasting live noon to 3 p.m. from Oakbrook Golf Club in Edwardsville. You golf, we talk. For information or to sign up to play, visit 971talk.com/events.
Some nights I stay up, cashing in my bad luck. Some nights I call it a draw. Some nights I wish that my lips could build a castle. Some nights I wish they just fall off. But I still wake up, I still see your ghost. Oh Lord, I'm still not sure what I stand for. What do I stand for? What do I stand for? Most nights I don't know anymore.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, it's obvious Hunter Biden's committed about a dozen crimes. That was in the correspondence we sent to the judge, and she started rattling off the first two. The most obvious are the violation of the Foreign Agents Registration Act and simple tax evasion. And the two IRS whistleblowers in their committee hearing testified to the numerous counts of tax evasion.
So what is the situation right now, the status of the investigation into Hunter Biden? That's James Comer, who has been leading the investigations there in the House, talking about how Hunter seems to have committed numerous crimes. Here's a little bit more from Comer.
There are emails that went back and forth where Hunter's legal team was telling Joe Biden how to spin the narrative about the corruption he got caught in. There was copies where he was copied about Ukraine foreign policy. And we believe there are many more emails that the National Archives is sitting on.
Well, the delay of the plea deal where it fell apart in court, and then they had a deadline in order to rectify that broken situation has arrived. And we welcome Hans von Spakovsky on the show with us to talk about the latest with Hunter Biden. He's a senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, a DOJ lawyer, former FEC commissioner. Hans, welcome back. Good to have you here.
Well, thanks for having me.
Of course. What's the latest? Explain to us non-legal experts this position where they are in right now with David Weiss as a special counsel, and we've heard the rumors that he's potentially going to indict. There was a plea deal. It fell apart. Where are we at right now?
Well, this whole thing just shows what an incompetent prosecutor he is. The reason we heard about all this was because when the plea deal fell apart, the judge gave the government until September 6th to tell her what they were going to do about this. And so Weiss had to meet that deadline. So that's why he comes out and says, well, I'm going to indict him by the end of the month. But here's the issue. Why hasn't he already indicted him on this gun charge? Look, these kind of gun charges are probably one of the easiest federal cases a federal prosecutor can come up with. You've got the form that the defendant filled out. He lied on it. Boom. It's probably a one-paragraph indictment. Weiss could have indicted Hunter Biden 5 years ago. And instead of just simply getting it done in August, once again, he says, oh, well, I'm probably going to do it. Well, that's because if he doesn't do it by the end of the month, the 5-year statute of limitations will have run. And remember, this is the same prosecutor who allowed the statute of limitations to run on many other potential felony tax charges that he could have filed against Hunter Biden, and he didn't do it.
If the Justice Department's role in everything leading up to this moment has appeared to be grossly inept, but the statute of limitations on all of these proposed crimes runs out, is Hunter Biden, is he off scot-free?
Yes. Yeah, he is. And either Weiss is totally incompetent or this is a deliberate strategy. It's hard for me not to believe this is a deliberate strategy when, remember, a month ago, they were going to give him a sweetheart plea deal in which he would just simply plead guilty to 2 misdemeanors for not paying up to $1.6 million in taxes, which is, that's a felony. That's felony tax evasion. And what was going to happen? He was going to get away with probation, and he wasn't even going to have a gun charge filed against him as long as he kept his nose clean and looked for employment. That was the deal he was going to get.
Man, what a good position, I guess, to be in if you're a frequent flyer in the criminal department. Senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, Hans von Spakovsky, with us right now. Can you maybe list for us the possible charges that Hunter Biden is still eligible to I guess, receive based on the crimes that we believe we have evidence to know that he committed?
Well, the tax charges should be immediately refiled against him as felony charges because he engaged in tax evasion. That's a felony. Those aren't misdemeanor charges. But the other charges that also should have been filed years ago are felony violations of the Foreign Agent Registration Act. That's the federal law that says that you have to register as a foreign agent if you are representing foreign interests. And the evidence on that is blatant and obvious, and yet we still haven't seen those charges either.
So there's the gun charge. That's the one that seems to be the leading one that Weiss has been talking about right now. Let's focus in on that one. Should that be prosecuted? Should he be indicted for that, like Weiss has suggested he's going to do? What does that end up looking like for Hunter Biden? Are we going to see him in jail?
He should be. In fact, the fact that they were going to let him out without any jail time is extremely unfair. U.S. attorney's offices prosecute these kinds of cases all the time, and they always ask for a term of imprisonment for doing this, and yet they were just going to let him get away with it.
Is there anything else that seems that it's going to materialize out of all of this? Because when we look at what the IRS whistleblowers testified to in front of Congress and the delays and the delays and the delays, there's what Hunter Biden has literally done, the connection that might exist with Joe Biden, but in all of the interference that seems to have happened here with the Justice Department that has been led in large part under Joe Biden's presidency, but also a bureaucracy that really worked and advocated against Donald Trump while Donald Trump was the president. It seems as though the amount of corruption that exists outside of Hunter Biden here, I don't even know if we've scratched the surface on it yet.
Oh, I don't think we have, and that's the other big problem here. In addition to basically trying to make the felony charges against Hunter Biden go away, look, we have all this evidence out there and more surfacing every day as these emails are uncovered, including the ones in National Archives, is refusing to provide that show potential criminal corruption by the Hunter Biden family, including Joe Biden, and their use of Joe Biden's official government position as vice president to enrich his family. And yet, what do we have? We have the Justice Department refusing to investigate this.
Yeah. And so how are the American people supposed to trust that justice is blind? It sure doesn't seem like it right now. We're speaking with Hans von Spakovsky, senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation. I'd like to shift gears a little bit. I think we touched on this at the end of our conversation last week, but the conversation has continued to gain a little bit of steam, and it's all surrounding the 14th Amendment and Donald Trump's ability to stay on the ballot. I know you've written about this. What does the 14th Amendment say, and how are Donald Trump's detractors trying to use that 14th Amendment to remove his name from the ballot?
14th Amendment was passed right after the American Civil War, and Section 3 has a provision in it that was intended to keep former members of the Confederate government and Confederate Army out of official positions of government, including Congress. And so basically it says that you're disqualified from holding, but by the way, not only federal office, but also state offices if you engage in insurrection or rebellion. And so critics of Trump are saying this means he can't be president. And so what they've been doing is they've been filing a series of lawsuits, such as one that was filed in Florida, saying that because of that provision of the 14th Amendment, he should not be on the ballot for the presidential primary election that's going to be there. That lawsuit in Florida, by the way, was just dismissed last week by a federal judge who said that voters don't have standing to bring a claim like this. The average voter doesn't have the right to bring a claim saying that some candidate is not qualified to hold office. And the most ironic thing about this, Annie, was You know what the federal judge that dismissed the case in Florida cited?
What?
She cited the cases that were filed when Barack Obama became president by people who said that he wasn't qualified to be president because he wasn't a natural born citizen. And those cases all got dismissed because the court said they don't have standing. The main thing about that provision of section of the 14th Amendment for people to understand is two things. One, Donald Trump, has never been convicted of insurrection or rebellion. He's never even been charged with it. And remember, in the second impeachment, the House voted to impeach him, claiming he had engaged in sedition. And what happened? The Senate found him not guilty. So how can he be disqualified under those circumstances? But the other big thing is Section 3 has something unique in it, and you and I have discussed this. It says that Congress actually can get rid of that provision of the 14th Amendment with a 2/3 vote of Congress. There's nothing else like that in any amendment. And Congress did exactly that in 1872 and 1898 when they passed two amnesty acts, getting rid of the disqualification provision. And you'll notice folks on MSNBC, CNN, all the ones who are pushing this, they never mention those two amnesty acts.
Yeah, that seems maybe not so great for their case. Before I let you go, Hans, I'm going to play Adam Schiff. I've heard you make a very, very good case as to why a lot of this stuff is, as we say on the show, bologna sausage. But I want you to listen to Adam Schiff and give your final response to why he says it would work.
I think it is a valid argument. The 14th Amendment, Section 3 is pretty clear. If you engage in acts of insurrection or rebellion against the government, or you give aid and comfort to those who do, you are disqualified from running. It doesn't require that you be convicted of insurrection. It just requires that you have engaged in these acts. It's a disqualification from holding office again. And it fits Donald Trump to a T. I think this will be tested when a Secretary of State either refuses to put him on the ballot or puts him on the ballot and is challenged by a litigant. I would imagine it will go up to the Supreme Court. And that's the big question mark through all of this, which is what will the Supreme Court do?
Representative Schiff says you don't have to be convicted of it, and it fits Donald Trump to a T. Is Adam Schiff misinformed?
Yes, and you notice he's ignoring the Amnesty Act I just talked about, and what he's saying doesn't work with our federal system because he's saying that after Congress actually voted him not guilty of doing that some local election official in some state gets to second guess what Congress did and decide that that this particular individual, Donald Trump, is not qualified to be president. Oh, please. If this gets to the Supreme Court, they'll throw the case out in a heartbeat.
Hans, I just did a quick Wikipedia search here, and it says that Adam Schiff graduated from Stanford and Harvard Law School. He's a lawyer. He seems to be a smart man. He also happens to be a politician. Why would he leave out those details if they're so important to the case?
Because what's going on here has nothing to do with the actual constitutional law. It's called lawfare. It's using the law for political purposes, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Well, we appreciate you, Hans. It's good to get some nuts and bolts to all of these issues because we know that people like Adam Schiff are out there trying to get us to feel a certain way and not to think at all. And we appreciate when you get on here and you help us do some of the thinking on these big issues. We appreciate you, Hans. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We'll do it again. Hans von Spakovsky, Senior Legal Fellow at the Heritage Foundation, former FEC Commissioner and DOJ lawyer. What's the Perry Mason sound? Do you know what is there a Perry Mason?
Is that the one that's bum ba-dum bum?
No, that's Matlock.
No.
I'm not confident. I'm sorry. I can think back to my KPLR days
I'm
about
thinking back too.
10 a.m. Everybody who's listening right now is singing whatever that is.
I can hear it in my brain.
Type out the notes in the YouTube chat for us and let us know. We'll Google it on the break. But whenever he makes those points, it's like, what is Adam Schiff doing? He's a smart man. He's a lawyer. Stanford and Harvard Law School educated. This guy knows what he's talking about. Exactly. He knows what he's talking about. He's making a case. And I like to see the rebuttal Insert Perry Mason sound here, which I don't know what it sounds like. Let's get to Wiggins America when we come back. I bet he knows what Perry Mason's sound drop sounds like. We'll have him articulate it for us when we return. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
You said you know what Matlock sounds like? You
Yeah, I do.
How? I didn't know you did trumpet.
Sad trumpet.
That's a really good trumpet, though.
That song made you sad when it came on. It meant cartoons were over.
That is so true. Now we transition to flooring. Michael's Flooring Outlet, a local family-owned and operated business right here in the St. Louis area, making sure that your flooring needs are met with quality, with value, and with the guidance that you need to make sure that you're making a smart financial decision. Michael's Flooring Outlet has all the products that you're looking for and different types of finishes. I think one of the craziest parts about flooring today, we replaced all the flooring in the house that we lived in like 8 years ago. And we needed something that was waterproof. We had dogs, we had kids, and we needed to make sure that that flooring was going to last because we tried to go on the cheap first and it didn't last. When you are investing in flooring and you're trying to get a hardwood look, there are a lot of different ways that you can go about that. If you haven't bought flooring in a long time, when you're looking for a hardwood type of aesthetic, you're still going to be able to utilize different kinds of flooring, great technological advances in the way the flooring upholds its structure, its look, its quality. Michael's Flooring Outlet can help you navigate all of those issues that you might be facing so you know that you're making a good investment. Visit any of their 3 stores that are in town and let them know that the Annie Frey Show sent you. You can find them online at igotfloored.com.
Wake up, people. You're optimizing every waking hour of your life. From carpooling kids, to work, to friends, and everything in between. You have to get sleep and a bed that can perform as well as you do. Meet the next generation Sleep Number Smart Bed. It effortlessly adjusts to your shape, position, and movements, learning how you sleep so you learn to sleep better night after night. Sleep next level, only from Sleep Number.
It's the biggest sale of the year. Save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition Smart Bed, plus free home delivery when you add an adjustable base. Ends Monday.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. Oh, thank you. What does it say? Beware. If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of hospitalization from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
Solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. Have questions after being injured in an accident? We'll match you with the Onder Law team that's right for you and your case.
Onder Law. Call 314 or 618-9000 to learn more.
St. Louis physician Dr. Abicki created Neovitin 15 years ago to help support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Since then, Neovitin has helped thousands of people support their daily nutrition with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Abicki's proprietary blend. If you're ready to join many St. Louisans in supporting their nutrition, give Neovitin a try. You can find Neovitin at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
This time check is 12:49. It's brought to you by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Big ideas, real debate, solid entertainment. It's all here on St. Louis's home for conservative talk, 97.1 FM Talk.
I let it fall, my heart, and as it fell, you rose to claim it.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
You kissed my lips and you saved me. My hands, they were strong, but my knees were far too weak to stand in your arms without falling to your feet. But there's a side to you that I never.
Hey, just so you know, the reason I know that theme song so well, I did a sketch when I was in college. It's probably still out there on the internet somewhere called Matlock Apartment, where and I'm in it. It's an apartment that I got real cheap because the Matlock theme song plays loudly in it ambivalently 24/7. So I have like guests over in the sketch and they're like, "What is this?" "Oh, it's Matlock theme song. Just overlook it. We try to watch a movie and party. And it's like, it's just not happening."
Good story.
Yeah, thank you. Matlock Apartment.
We were trying to figure out. I want to have some sort of when I think Hans makes a really good point. I want to play one of those old timey. Sorry, folks, if I just referred to something old timey that isn't old timey to you, but one of those old timey drops. And I was thinking, what's dun 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 dun, and I thought it was Matlock.
Dragnet.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and actually somebody else commented.
I still don't know what Perry Mason.
I don't know that
like.
Perry Mason had anything that was that distinguishable.
Well, what I realized, what I was thinking of was the Law and Order.
Dong, dong.
Yeah, that's what I need.
Yeah.
Under a
couple of dongs. Dong dong. There we are. Here we are again. And here we have arrived again.
We're back in the car. Do you have anything for this segment?
Wiggins America is about ways that you may be getting scammed. Modern American scams.
That's what people who are listening right now are like, am I being scammed?
Yeah, you are. Just so you know.
No,
that's
you're not
number
paying
one.
for this.
Yeah.
That's true. This is free to you.
Yeah, don't remind them.
It's costing you your time and your life.
Support our
though.
sponsors, please. I'm probably going to need a little extra effort this month.
Yeah, just a little bit extra. Anything you could do to support the sponsors.
Yeah, just go replace your air conditioner with Air Comfort Service.
Yeah, even if it's fine.
just do it for the show.
We need you.
On the Matlock theme while they're putting it in.
Yes, just so they know. They'll get the reference. So here are some things that maybe you have wasted money on that are unnecessary. Number one, I want to know your opinion on this. Huge weddings.
No.
Why drop $50,000 to $100,000, it says, on an event? Yes, the memory is important, but some people are going into crazy debt.
It's a selfish culture that we live in.
Yes.
Nobody cares. Like, it is funny how I think we might all be at this age right now, where when people 20 years younger, 15 years younger than us are getting married, and it's like it's such an important thing. You're like, it's really not. I mean, the marriage is super important, but just remind me the week before that the wedding is happening.
Yeah. And also, don't set yourself up for financial hardship at the beginning of your marriage.
Not going to be good for your marriage.
No, it's not.
We did it. I was pretty impressed with our ability to have a very lovely wedding, and my parents helped fund it. I think, we had X amount of budget and we went a little bit over, but we literally had 400 guests at our wedding.
That's a lot.
We invited 400 people, and they usually say what percentage comes.
Oh, I don't know.
Like it's like 60 to 70%.
They all came.
They all came. Everyone
Are both sides of your family from this area?
Jared and I have never left, and our families are here.
Yeah.
And the family that weren't here would travel to come here. It was amazing. It was fantastic. So we went a little bit over, but I mean, like, I'm talking 20% of what budgets you just talked about.
Yeah, we did too. And that's mainly because my family is all from here and big and has stayed around here. Katie's family, though, is from all over the place. So it was like 80-20, my family and friends, and 20% hers. Number 2, in-app purchases in games or in-game purchases.
I've wasted money on that.
I have not succumbed to this, but man, is it tempting sometimes.
The only time that I gave in to spending money on Candy Crush was when I was pregnant and I was so uncomfortable and I couldn't sleep. And I mean, there would be nights where I would be awake all night.
Yeah.
And I would just play Candy Crush because I had read everything. At that point, it's like there's nothing new to know.
Got to the end of the internet.
Yeah. So I didn't regret it.
It is amazing how much people will spend inside games on virtual
$1.99 at a time. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah.
This is all a game to you, isn't it, Nick?
But I'll use Fortnite as an example. Fortnite is a free game. You can play it for free. It doesn't cost you a dime. But they're making a really good game. And if you enjoy that game, I've always looked at an in-app purchase as a thank you for making a good game. Thank you for making it free. Here's some money for your time. It's not necessarily it's like almost like purchasing.
You don't need to buy anything in Fortnite to play either.
Right.
Like you don't, it's not such a disadvantage if you don't purchase.
Yeah, it does. It actually has no effect on your.
Have you ever heard of the World of Warcraft? Maybe it's other games now. The farms overseas that people will just sit there for hours. Their job is to sit there for hours a day on end and just like kill a bush or a bird or something for one point and make these giant characters that people in wealthier countries will buy their character for a lot of money.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I mean, it's a weird business that it exists, but it does.
Put it as maybe a plan C.
Yeah, go ahead. Number 3, vacations to kid-centered places with kids who are too young to even appreciate that you're doing it.
I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, well, when it says when kids are 1 and 2 years old, especially.
You should see the Instagram video I just posted.
Is it of your 1 and 2 year olds?
It's of Molly this summer at Disney World meeting Buzz Lightyear. And I have a video of it, but I don't understand why people don't consider the fact that, first of all, you have to be able to afford it. If you're spending money that you can't afford, then it's a waste. Silly.
Yeah.
But that's my memory and my husband's memory.
And that's very true.
And that counts.
Yeah, it does count. I've thought back to vacations I've taken with my family. I really only remember the little details, not the vacation itself, until I'm about 13 years old, which is saying something.
Our generation is different, though, because we don't have photos of minute-by-minute documentation of our existence. Our kids do. And I think it's going to help their memory.
Last one, and I just want to read this because I love it. Taxes / the government. Now, I don't think that we're going to have to debate this, but I love the way it's presented. It says, you owe us money. It's called taxes. Me? Well, how much do I owe? Government? Well, you have to figure that out. I just pay whatever I want. Government? Oh, no, we know exactly how much you owe. And then you say, well, but you'll tell me that number, right? Government says, no, you have to pay to figure that out or figure it out on your own. Me? What if I get it wrong? Government? We'll fine you or send you to prison.
Yeah, that's true.
That is a bad system, the way that it is, because you just can do whatever you want until the government decides that it's not okay. And then the burden is on you to find out how much you owe.
And then sometimes they just decide it's okay, no matter how many millions you haven't reported on your taxes.
You know what? That is a great way to end this segment, because that is very, very true. No matter what, if you have a bunch of shell companies, they'll just kind of overlook it.
Move it around a little bit and they'll never find it. And then maybe if your dad's high up in office or something, they can kind of smooth it over. Even if you get like a special prosecutor going after you, like, well, maybe we'll forget about it. And then the time will pass.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, we just hypothetically, we're saying maybe that might happen. That's a cute video you've got.
See that video?
It is cute. I've seen this video before, and it was cute the first time and the second time, and now the third time. I love this video.
I made it last night.
No. I've seen this before.
You saw it before I put it on Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Molly, I think everybody was riding Space Mountain, so I stayed off with Molly because Buzz Lightyear happened to be out and about, and she loves Toy Story, and so she wanted to meet him, and she just she's not intimidated by it. That was the first time she was at Disney and was able to meet characters and like actually interact, where you're not like just holding a baby and standing outside of the picture where the baby's like floating with the photo. And she just walks up and gives Buzz Lightyear a big hug. I mean, melt my heart. And it is what it is for everybody, but I don't regret that at all.
What I appreciate about this is that she's 2, and she's got it figured out. She walks up, hugs him. Okay, now I'm going to stand here, and then I'm going to go back and hug him again, and then we're all done. Great job, everybody.
She's an expert. Tyrus, and we're going to talk about Boob Gate when we come back.
Oh.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Don't go away.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times. We haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The mask debate is back on Lisa Brady, Fox News, with a proposed ban on mask mandates.
We cannot return to the failed policies of the COVID pandemic.
Ohio Republican Senator J.D. Vance just proposing the Freedom to Breathe Act.
It says that for the next 15 months, the government can't force you to wear a mask on planes, on public transit, or in public schools. Taxpayer dollars cannot be used to force and enforce a mandate against our people.
He argues it's necessary as some companies and schools have already started requiring masks again with COVID cases back on the rise. Vance says this would not interfere with any future pandemic fighting efforts. Massachusetts Democratic Senator Ed Markey objecting.
This disease has killed 1,139,000 people already.
Markey says the ban would undermine local decision-making. Vance was seeking unanimous consent for his proposal. That has just been blocked by Markey. New Jersey is being called out by the Justice Department over the spread of COVID at state-run homes for veterans. An investigative report just released cites failures at the 2 facilities, including poor communication and lack of competency, leading to the virus spreading virtually unchecked. New Jersey reached a more than $50 million settlement 2 years ago to settle claims it was negligent and contributed to more than 100 deaths at those VA homes. More than one state is having a problem with chronic absenteeism on the rise in schools.
These are the years where these foundations are laid, where the building blocks are assembled that enable success.
Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin launching a task force aimed at addressing learning loss in grades 3 through 8. The White House says FEMA is pre-deploying assets to Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands as Hurricane Lee continues to strengthen. For now, it is still far out in the Atlantic, but heading toward the Bahamas. America is listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Our summertime weather pattern is out of the picture. Partly sunny skies on this Wednesday afternoon, less humid. The humidity will be dropping anyway. 85 for the high. Tonight, clear skies, cool, low humidity, 62 for the overnight low. On Thursday, lots of sunshine, 82 degrees. Thursday afternoon, sunshine and 82 continues Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
There are a lot of issues that are plaguing people exactly like you this time of year when the seasons shift and you have these ear, nose, and throat concerns that maybe you just deal with every time this time of year comes around. What if you didn't have to deal with that? What if you're not, it's a really rough time of year? What if you were able to overcome those concerns that you have? Give Gateway ENT an opportunity to show you how they can help you. And I'm telling you right now, when you call Gateway ENT at 314-843-3828, you're not going to have to wait months and months and months to get in. They're going to get you in pretty quickly. They're a private practice, ear, nose, and throat group that has great longevity in St. Louis. I'm telling you, the top elite people across St. Louis, when they have ENT concerns, they go to Gateway ENT because they're the best. And being in private practice, they're not beholden to some bigger system to refer to and to deal with. You are at the epicenter of their focus. If you have ear, nose, and throat concerns right now, if you get those seasonal allergies that really, really cause you a lot of issues that you have to suffer through until that season is over, don't suffer any longer. Call Gateway ENT at 314-843-3828, 314-843-3828, online at gatewaydrs.com.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AAMCO.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
This week, 97.1 FM Talk is bringing you football. The Kansas City Chiefs are on 97.1 FM Talk. Tonight, game time is 7:20. Coverage starts at 6. Everyone is welcome.
Mark Cox here, inviting you to join me for Freedom Fest on September 15th at Sugar Creek Winery in Defiance. It's going to be a great celebration. Tickets are just $50. Get yours now while they last at stcharlesgop.com. That's stcharlesgop.com.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, now American researchers are confirming what we suspected, that muscular physiques go hand in hand with conservatism. And if you're puny, well, you're likely also a progressive.
You're becoming like my most stable relationship.
Enough said.
Well, there's Greg Gutfeld saying it the way Greg Gutfeld says things. But there is a report out there right now. Fox News is reporting on this Gutfeld article, but muscular physiques go hand in hand with conservatism. I guess we can tell everything we need to know about somebody just by the way we look at them. Tyrus, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It's good to have you
here. How are you?
I'm doing okay. You must be really conservative.
Super conservative.
Super.
Yeah, you can't judge a book by its cover, but some things he had made a good point of, and I think it's more the mindset of that conservatives tend to look to achieve in the system, look for personal improvement, more independent, because that's what they want. So, and that's also when you're going to train for anything or go after anything, you kind of got to do the same thing. So I think the funny point was, because I wouldn't exactly call Greg jacked, but but his point is there, because there's always going to be exceptions to the rule. That's the beautiful thing about America. But for the most part, when you count calories, when you train hard, you invest, and you go for personal best, that's a very conservative mindset. Whereas, and we're comparing today, first world liberals, not old world liberals or Democrats. It's the progressive socialists that we're talking about. They do the group thing, they do the fake numbers thing. If they can't compete, they invent a new group. That's the basis behind all the pronoun things.
Yeah.
So you don't see a lot of that in the conservative side of things. So that's where he was going from. But there's no absolutes. We know that,
Yeah.
But it is funny when he is portraying you got to be jacked to be a conservative, and he
seems fit.
Jacked.
He seems fit.
I affectionally refer to him as puny human.
Puny.
But he's, but it was fun. That's the funny thing about having a comedy show. You can make ridiculous statements and everyone talks about it, and that's the point. So, job well done.
It resonated. It's an interesting story. I think when you think about what it takes to commit to personal self-improvement, it seems as though that physical achievement that one can get from going to the gym, it's the one thing that we haven't figured out, I guess, with the capital T, capital S, the science, how to manipulate and skip so we can get the results without really having to put in the work. And to me, in a larger sense, so much of what the socialist version of the Democratic wing today wants to sell to people is the idea that you can get the benefits without really having to put in the work, but you're just going to have to rely on us to provide it for you. And you're going to have to pay for it via enormous taxes and just trust that what we're providing to you is what you need. So I wonder if there is a correlation there, that we have a society today that wants a lot of the benefit without having to do a whole lot of the work.
Well, and that's the thing, and that's the point of the article, is that it's becoming that way because it didn't used to be that way. And whatever your personal, now your thing might not be the gym, but you might want to be a small business owner who wants to be the best small business owner and wants to turn your small business into a big business and franchise. And that the same thing takes commitment, sacrifice, hard work. And the other side wants to, what they will do is like, hey, let's not work out because working out is racist. So instead of working out, we can just eat and get fat together and say we're body beautiful. And it's our uniqueness. And we identify as things that don't exist, like unicorns, or my favorite one is the guy who's half werewolf, half vampire. And of course, he's a hybrid and has all his parents' powers. So, he's got that going for him. But those imaginary feelings world where the less focus you put on your individual achievement, the more you form the group, and they all kind of look the same. It's like the same bad haircuts and the same, and they're all uniquely different in the colors, but they're so different and unique, but they're really not. They're all kind of in the same lazy boat, so to speak. So when you see that, because that's what they're trying to preach to people, like, don't improve, stay the way you are, you're perfect the way you are, is a coded message. Because if you don't improve, I don't care who you are, you're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Like you can't expect everything to be given to you. And that's the problem with the first world, because countries that is not in the first world don't have these problems. And that's how they're made up, and they're things from our social success, and which will ultimately lead to our downfall. When you hear, like, one of the stories that blew my mind last week was a Catholic couple was denied the ability to be foster parents because of their religion, and because they might not be accepting to a transgender child or a child with gender issues. And I remember being in the system, and those thoughts never crossed my mind. I cared about a warm meal, a roof over my head, feeling safe, and most importantly, kids love routine and regimen. So kids don't go into gender issues unless the parents are putting it in front of them.
Yeah.
Period. That's just as real as it gets. And I don't care whatever backlash there is, so be it, bring it on. But every time you look at that situation, and then there's the extreme situation, as a child grows, they have feelings and questions, and they're painting this narrative that we're all the parents from Footloose, or all parents are the ones from, what's the Patrick Swayze movie with the dancing?
I can see it. Oh, Dirty Dancing?
Dirty Dancing,
Yeah.
There you go. But it turns out the dad was a good guy.
Right. Yeah, he was the good guy.
They want to paint the narrative that all parents will reject their children and their children are scared of them, and that's not the case. Like, there's extreme cases and there's bad cases, but that's not the norm. That's what we're dealing with, And so those who prioritize and sacrifice and bust their butt to get where they need to go, you don't need a six-pack to do it, but it's the same mindset.
We're speaking with Tyrus. You see him on Gutfeld. He's a Fox News contributor, a co-host of the Tyrus and Tim podcast. You should subscribe to that. He's also got another book coming out called Nuff Said. You can pre-order that right now. I think you're Gen X, right? You're a Gen Xer, I would assume. Is that correct? I'm a millennial. I'm an old millennial, but I'm of the millennial variety. And I grew up, we didn't have the internet in our house until I was about to get into high school. Nobody knew how to use the internet when we were in high school. It was like kind of the bad guy. And I think about the counterculture ways of youth in Gen X and then in my generation. But then as the internet came in and everybody was constantly confronted with looking at themselves and making sure that everybody else was looking at themselves, that like the idea of counterculture, what the youth of our country are supposed to do and kind of lead the pendulum to swing back and forth. I wonder if that's still going to happen the way it used to, because a lot of what you're talking about, and you're just calling a spade, and you're saying, this is right, this is wrong, and if you don't like it, I don't really care, which is about the most Gen X thing I think you could probably say.
Yeah, because we don't.
Is that going to change, though? I mean, like, we have to get back to the place where people don't care what other people think. It has to.
Well, the biggest thing is going to have to be maybe it will take a thing from China where they knock down all our Wi-Fi towers, or you don't have the ability to sit on your iPad. The problem is the internet. The technology on the internet has created a generation of narcissists. And even worse, they don't have the positive benefits of the narcissist. So, like, it's just all the downside. You know, everyone thinks that they're an influencer or they're rich or they're special, and their posts are like Greek poems from Socrates every time anything comes out of their mouth, and it's not. And the problem is parents have allowed the pacifier used to be something you gave your whiny child or a teething child when they're a baby, and that was it. Now the pacifier, if you keep it plugged in, it's 24 hours a day, and the kids become absorbed in these loopholes and what the parents are not paying attention to while they're on their own thing. And I always say the same thing. If you got a Facebook and you were taking pictures of your food and you got more than 2 kids, you are messing up. You do not have time for that stuff. And that's the thing is, like, with parents, I think the big difference is, and I had to really look in the mirror at myself and turn off, kill the social media crap, kill the farmers on Facebook. I had to kill all that because that stuff takes up hours that you don't pay attention. You go down that wormhole of scrolling, and you're scrolling, and no one's paying it. Like, you will have 4 people sitting in a living room and everyone's on their phone with the TV on for background music. And that's where we're losing our kids to. That's where the pedophiles are no longer hanging out on street corners. They're sitting on the internet, befriending our kids. And it doesn't matter what form you're on. They play a game on Apple. They've got 4 different commercials, and one of them will be an adult game. They're on YouTube watching kittens make pretty faces, and all of a sudden that kitten turns into a woman trying to catch her husband cheating. And we're not catching it. And then our kids are hooked. And then they learn to be secretive, and they hide things from us, and we hide things from them because we don't want them to see our search history, and they don't want us to see their search history. And then eventually you open yourself up to where they're looking for guidance for creepy individuals who are sitting there like, message me privately. Don't talk to your mom and dad. I love you. You can come live with me if things don't work out. And kids are thinking it's just as real as anything else. And they're finding out that there are awful, terrible human beings out there. But they're not kicking in your door and taking your kids anymore. They're doing it right in your own house on our watch. And I think we have to kill the babysitter. Sometimes I just don't see why our kids need it other than for education. And which means that we have to put our parent hat on, which means we got to play Monopoly again, or Sorry, or Cornhole in the backyard, or, we have to get back to parenting. You have movie night, not TV day.
Do you think, Tyrus, do you think that the people who are the kids, the preteens, the teenagers who were in the midst of being raised like this right now are going to be able to grow up and go, that wasn't good, and maybe parent differently? No, I think we all learn from our lessons, but this is quite a different one.
It's like any addiction. Try it. If you came home from work today and you took all your kids, if they have iPads and stuff, I'm assuming there's one in the house because I think just about everybody has one, and you took all that stuff and threw it in the trash can, watch their reaction. You have not seen crying or screaming or asking God why, or why does this happen to me? Because it's an addiction. They hook our kids because our kids' minds are stimulating, and they're like sponges, and they're absorbing everything, and it keeps giving more, but most of it's crap. Yeah. But here's the funny thing. 45 minutes later, if you just placed the ball in the backyard or the front yard or took them to the park, the kids' minds would start absorbing again, and they wouldn't miss it.
Yeah. And you got to be with them.
Yeah. It's not like Gen Xers where we just went outside. But the point is like, I did it in my household, and it was, my kids were upset at me. They were upset, like, why'd you buy it for us then if you're going to take it away? I said, because I can't, unless I'm monitoring, or your mom's monitoring, or your uncle's and I mean monitoring.
Yeah.
Like sitting next to them, looking at everything they're looking at, and the first sign of a blip or something else. But then again, you have to look at, why does Apple, if you buy a game, why does Apple flood it with commercials with other more inappropriate games? Yeah. Our kids aren't not safe from Apple. YouTube, kids YouTube, same thing. It takes you down the TikTok destroys families. But we allow the monster in the house because the parents are doing it too. Like, maybe you shouldn't spend so much time on Facebook trying to see what your ex in high school is doing now. Mm-hmm. Focus on what we have. We have to get back to that. It needs to be almost like a come to Jesus moment for America in terms of parenting with our kids. We can no longer just Because it's great. You give your kids the iPad and they'll sit there for 4 hours on it. You won't hear a peep out of them.
Mm-hmm.
But you're losing them. And one day you're not going to know who your kid is anymore because they end up sucked down these weird cults and these things. And the best way to do it is say, you are not who you think you are. You are this. You might be this. If you do this or you dress this way, you'll be special and we'll love you and all this kind. And that's all. That's cult stuff 101. And but we letting them in our house, and I'm not letting them in my house anymore.
Yeah.
So
amen to that.
I had to do charades this weekend.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. My kids don't have phones. They don't have tablets. We have the grownups have tablets that sometimes Bluey gets put on for the 2-year-old, at the third volleyball game that we're at. But we haven't done it. And my kids I have an eighth grader, 6th grader, and a 2nd grader, and then a 2-year-old. And even the 6th grader, she's the only one who doesn't have a phone. And I've been very honest with her as to what can happen on those phones and why she doesn't have it. And being honest with her, she's like, I'm kind of glad I don't really want to be exposed to that. But it's not a popular decision. But parents, I'm not there to be popular. And it sounds like you've made that decision too.
My mom was never popular,
right?
But she raised a hand, So there's a thing to it. And here's the thing: I know it firsthand, and I don't have full custody of all my kids. I gotta fly in and I do my visits and I bring my kids and I get them all for the summer. And I went through the phones and one of my kids' phones from being at public school, it was enough to choke a sailor. The things that were being sent. And when I called the school, they looked at me like there was something wrong with me. And I said, you think this is okay? Mm-hmm. And because they put at the top of the poster, they put LGBTQ Pride Week on the flyer, but it was a whole thing about sneaky ways to do things with your peers. And I was like, how is this in any way celebrating any diversity? This is just unfortunately using the LGBT community for this purpose of sexualizing. Yes. And that's not what it is to be gay. That's not what it is to live that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? All my 99% of my gay friends, and I'm in wrestling, there's a large population, but they don't like that stuff. They don't come into work discussing what happens in the bedroom, just like I don't. We laugh, we talk about everything else under the sun, but no one wants to talk about sexualization. Adults don't want to do it.
And there's no place for it in the classroom.
There's no reason for the classroom at all. There is sex education in the 7th grade, and even that you should be able to read it out of a health book. This whole idea, this first world issue that our kids need to know what goes where and who it goes with and how to do it with when they're 6 years old is ridiculous. And kids don't think in those terms. It has to be brought to them. Otherwise, we would see this across the world. We would see this in Africa. We would see this in other places where gender dysphoria is happening, and and we're dealing with it. And it's these huge numbers, but it's not. It seems to be happening in specific areas and specific classes, and usually the parents are pushing it. So again, and there's always exceptions to the rules, and there's always people that are going to grow up under horrible situations. I get it. Trust me, I get it. My issue wasn't gender. My issue was being Black and living in an abusive situation. So I get it. But at the same time, I had to get through it. We have to fight through it, and get help when you can. But this idea of pushing this narrative and going after parents and stuff is just what it is. It's a cult, and we just got to kill the babysitter, and we got to take 2 steps back from technology and get back to getting our hands dirty and roll up our sleeves and raise our kids the right way.
It's such an important message, and Tyrus, it's good that you're leading on this issue and being able to be open about it, because there are a lot of other parents who want to do this and they need the little extra encouragement. I think you've done that for them today. It's
humiliating. You want it to be everybody else's kid.
Yeah.
And in my situation, my kid was leading the pack. And when I was asking the questions, like, why do you think this is okay? And the answer is, well, I'm curious. I said, this isn't curiosity. Who's telling you this is curiosity? This is not what people who care about each other do to each other. They don't do this. This is not what happens with adults when they're in love. This is not it. This is stuff that they do on movies to get lonely men to buy stuff.
Yeah. And parents stepping up and having those very uncomfortable conversations. You are the only thing that's going to care about those kids more than the world wants to devour them. So very good.
It sucks because not all and sometimes parents don't want to see it.
Yeah.
They're like, nope, she was hacked. Nope, it was hacked. No one's hacking our 12-year-old. I'm sorry. It's not happening.
Tyrus.
There's not, and that's what's hard is nobody wants to look in the mirror and be like, this happened on my watch and I got to fix it. It's always that we got that excuse serum pretty thick right now in this country where it's always somebody else's fault. And it's not. Look in the mirror.
Well, if people want to learn more about your thoughts and perspectives, I encourage them to check out the Nuff Said book of yours that's coming out soon. You can get it for pre-order. And congratulations on an incredible wrestling career. I know that you've decided to hang it up, and we've enjoyed here in St. Louis watching you succeed and compete. And we wanted to say congratulations to you on that.
Yeah, the Chase just seemed like the right place. Dusty Rhodes was there. Harley Race was there. It was a sold-out crowd, and I just went to Billy and I said, it's time, and he's like, are you crazy? I said, nah, I'm tired, honestly, it's an extra weekend, a month that I can focus on parenting because I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Tyrus, thanks. We love talking to you. Thanks for being here.
Always a pleasure. Have a great week.
Yep. You as well. Co-host of the Tyrus and Tim podcast, Gutfeld, Fox News contributor, author, and parent. Like me, like you, maybe trying to navigate this really, really incredibly crazy world, this technological world that we were not raised in, but we do have to raise our children in. It's a really compelling conversation. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
All right.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
Everyone knows.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
And in my heart somewhere, I want to go there. Still I don't go there. Everybody says, say something, say something, say something, say something, say something, say something.
Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, Tammy Kershaw, the Retirement Advisory Group want to make sure that you usher yourself into the retirement that you've planned for on your own terms with an income plan that has been structured specifically for you with what you've built and where you want to go with it. The Retirement Advisory Group is there to guide you through this process. It's a pretty incredible time of your life to know that retirement is right around the corner. You might be at your top earning at that point in time, but you want to make sure that you can maintain a lifestyle once you do engage in retirement. When you call 314-993-9494, that's 314-993-9494, you are going to be put into a position to have a free conversation with the folks at the Retirement Advisory Group so that you can know what's going to happen. That gives you a worry-free approach to making sure that that shift in your life is going to be one that can be celebrated. 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. Give them a call. Mention the Annie Frey Show when you do, and just listen to what they have to say. It doesn't cost you anything, and the benefits will be enormous. RetirementKey.com.
At Diamonds Direct, we believe luxury is an experience and not a price tag. Luxury is expert guidance. It's the selection of 10 jewelry stores under one roof. It's saving time on endless comparison shopping, and you'll only find this experience at Diamonds Direct. So don't compromise. Choose Diamonds Direct and enjoy the luxury of confidence in your fine jewelry purchase. Regardless of your budget, our expert team ensures every customer enjoys the same luxury experience, rooted in selection, education, and ultimate value. Start and end your search at Diamonds Direct. Our luxury showroom has it all. Engagement rings, exquisite diamond jewelry, the most sought-after designer brands, Swiss timepieces, and colored gemstones, all backed by our lifetime warranties and our signature best price guarantee. Diamonds Direct is the perfect combination of luxury and value, so you don't ever have to compromise. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. At Olive and 270, official partner of the St. Louis Blues and proud to call the Gateway City home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands to treat ED at up to 95% off. That's right, the same active ingredient as the brand name for 95% less. It's the same ED medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
If you'd like to work with a local company that gives back to the community, Window World is the preferred window of your St. Louis Blues. Mark Cox here from my friends out at Window World. What a great product. A lifetime warranty. It covers all the parts, the glass breakage, the labor. You've heard me say that before. And they've been around for over 20 years. They have improved the look and the efficiency of over 70,000 homes in the greater St. Louis area. They have the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. That's hard to get, right? And that's important. They're ranked number one in the number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. Call them for a free estimate. Let them show you why they say simply the best for less. New doors, new windows. With Window World, they're now offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800. Or you can go online anytime to windowworld.com.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure is just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Well, he had to reschedule from last week because he was probably shooting wild hogs from a helicopter, but Ted Nugent will be on the show 5:25 Thursday evening.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
And I'm talking to myself at night because I can't forget. Back and forth through my mind behind a cigarette. And a message coming from my eyes says leave it
Is it time to talk about Boob Gate?
Been waiting all day. Because I really don't know what it is. I just know the word boob and I know the word gate, and that implies there's a scandal involving a boob.
It's about Bill Gates.
Bill Gertz?
Bill Gertz.
Boob Gates.
Bill Gertz is sitting in Fenton right now going, hey.
Or somebody close to Bill Gertz is like, really? I'm going to text Bill right now.
Bill finally get that boob job. That's good for him.
He's been saving up.
I'm going to Google Bill Gertz right now. See
Bill
if
Gertz.
Bill
breast.
Gertz. Uh-oh.
Right, you're doing that on a work computer.
Is an American editor, columnist, and reporter for the Washington Times.
Washington Times, eh?
Yes. That's more prestigious than I had anticipated.
Yeah, and there he is.
He's the author of 8 books and writes a weekly column on the Pentagon and national security issues called Inside the Ring. I don't know if he got his boob job. He's 71.
Yeah, I don't think he did because I typed in Bill Gert's breasts and
I didn't. I left that last
word. It
word.
said, well, I got Bill Gert's, but it doesn't have that. Do you want that in there?
Here's Tyrus from Gutfeld last night.
You remember Kayla Lemieux? She was put on leave at her old school because of security concerns over her presence teaching kids. But now she's been given a job at a new school, and parents are furious, calling it the definition of insanity.
You remember Boob Gate?
No, I still don't.
Look at you looking at the live stream right now.
Let me look at myself on the live stream. Oh, yeah.
Is that a picture of you?
No, that's not me. I'm below that.
What would you say you're seeing right now?
This is the teacher who wore the giant prosthetic boobs
Shop
to
teacher.
school. Yes.
Seems, I'm just going to say, I think this is a Z cup. Is that what you read somewhere before?
What they said.
Not really sporting the Z myself here, but I
Me
would
either.
not want to be running a circular saw with those things hanging around.
And if they're prosthetics, it'd be kind of fun to see what happens.
But they said they were real.
Oh, they did say they're real. They're clearly not.
How do you know?
Well, because I can see that is a guy, and those are fake boobs. It's not more complicated than that. I wish it were, but it's not. I can see that those are fake boobs on a shop teacher.
Have you ever seen Z cup boobs before?
I don't know how to answer that question.
It's a yes or no question.
Well, I'm looking at them. So, yes.
I'm just saying that I want to know what your frame of reference is to judge the realistic nature of them.
Okay. You first.
I don't know. Those nipples are not realistic, though.
No, unless it's really cold.
Really? Like where? I mean, I was gonna say where are the ice caps? But they're melting, so can't see them in the background.
Right.
The New York Post reports, like last week or so. Gosh, stupid ads. Transgender teacher Kayla Lemieux is seen on a new photo strolling through Canada with her giant Z-cup prosthetic breasts.
I love that they say her, just to be safe.
As outraged parents called the decision to hire her at a new school the definition of insanity. Kayla, my position on this is just use the name.
It's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
Kayla
Lemieux.
No relation to Mario.
Do you know?
Well, no. I mean, she is Canadian.
You gotta not say these things.
Kayla is Canadian,
with
so maybe.
Much confidence. The pic taken about 2 weeks ago has been doing the rounds among concerned parents, including some who told the Post they're outraged that she's been given a new gig despite being put on leave at her old school because of security concerns sparked by her presence teaching kids. The Nora Francis Henderson Secondary School in Hamilton, Ontario, has already warned parents there will be heightened security measures and potential, quote, disruptions of the Z variety. Nope, that's not true. The problems just moved somewhere else, said Selena Close, a parent of Oakville Trafalgar High, and the school Lemieux worked out before being put on leave past spring. They're telling parents they're taking safety precautions for the kids, but won't say anything about what the justification is for Lemieux to be back in the classroom, which is the root cause of the problem. Well, now we've seen Lemieux photographed elsewhere with a beard and no boobs.
No, really. The boobs are gone? So they were fake.
They're not. They're probably somewhere.
Yeah. You know what? When I look at this, though, I don't think A through Z cup, that's old. That should go away. We need to make this a new system. Alpha and Omega, those are Omega breasts.
I thought you were going to name them Alpha and Omega. I thought that was blasphemous.
No, I'm just using I think it's the Greek alphabet.
It is.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you can read Greek in the room.
Oh, gosh.
One of us can.
Brad.
This is from Fox News. A Canadian trans teacher who became infamous for wearing massive prosthetic Z-cup breasts to class was photographed arriving to school dressed as a man. I think that's funny because Kayla's a man. He's not dressed as a man. He's a man who is dressed.
Oh, now I'm getting really confused, though. So Kayla is a man.
Kayla Lemieux has claimed to be suffering from a condition called gigantomastia. I don't know if I said
gigantomastia.
No, which is a rare condition during which one's breasts become excessively large. Can you? I mean, like, I don't want any commentary. Just react, but don't speak. Imagine if I just came in tomorrow with Z cup breasts. I was like, hey guys, why are you looking at me like that? What's wrong? I have gigantomastia.
Sudden gigantomastia. Adult onset sudden gigantomastia.
When Lemieux arrived in Nora Francis Henderson Secondary School in Hamilton, Ontario for planning day before students arrived on Tuesday, the teacher was dressed as a man and ditched the massive breasts. Lemieux was spotted by photographers driving a Mazda SUV, which is a very interesting key point of the story.
What kind of car was it?
Mazda.
Is it a Mazda?
You gotta be kidding. Just because Mazda has a Z in it, so it's got to be a Mazda SUV.
Zoom.
And the New York Post reported the teacher was, quote, given a police escort to the school. Lemieux was sporting a noticeable beard. The Post reported the parents from Oakville Trafalgar High School in Canada where Lemieux made national headlines for donning the prosthetics were left, quote, gobsmacked, end quote, by the teacher's new look.
So do we still say her now with the beard and the no boobs?
That's funny. And the no boobs. Parents are now just supposed to accept Lemieux as a male and their kid's teacher is either a deranged liar or mentally unstable. It's infuriating. We had a year of complete chaos. We were told Lemieux's breasts were real and we couldn't question Lemieux's gender. But now we see Lemieux is actually male and the breasts were never real.
I think I'm back to loving this person.
Lemieux previously denied accusations that the breasts were fake in an interview. Quote, I'm not wearing prosthetic breasts. These are real.
I'm glad they had the quote, just to be sure.
My condition is classified as gigantomastia. I hope he said it with confidence.
Mm-hmm.
I did not. Which can be referred to as macromastia or breast hypertrophy.
And medically, we say macromastia.
And on the Annie Frey show, we say gigantic boobs.
Yes.
Boob Gate. That aren't real. Or she just stuck a pin in those balloons because they are not there anymore. And in place of it, a beard. Kayla Lemieux, Boob Gate Kayla Lemieux, showed up to her new job dressed as a man.
I find it interesting that as a woman, she wore a mask. Now as a man, though, no mask, so you can see the beard.
Yeah, but the mask was only to cover up her mouth, so you couldn't tell if she was grinning. Not her nose. It wasn't for COVID.
I like this story. I think that this is one that we should follow.
I have been. Are you kidding me?
No, but weekly. Like maybe even bi-weekly.
Imagine for a second your child shows up to school and this guy is their teacher.
I kind of am imagining that.
Ugh.
If you're gonna go big. That's what I like about it.
I think you and she are one of a kind. We'll be right back.
Got a story to tell. Everyone knows about it.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
And that ain't what you want to hear, but that's what I'll do. And the feeling coming from my bones says find a home.
I could sing the praises of Jen Teskey over and over and over again as a realtor on the Illinois side of the river because buying and selling in this market is a little bonkers, and Jen Teskey knows how to get the job done. She, if you're looking to sell a house, if you're thinking about selling even in the next year, you want to reach out to Jen Teskey at 618-541-1010 and hire her. There, I said it. But I'm going to move on to something that's a little bit more specific. And if you've been through this, or if you know somebody who's going through this, or you're going through it yourself right now, you know how important this role is. Jen Teskey is above the rest. She has a certification in divorce real estate. She looks to make these specializations so that she can accommodate the help and assistance that are needed in even some of the more obscure situations. If you're going through a divorce and you know that this house transaction, the sale of it, is going to be contentious, she's certified in divorce real estate, which means she's specially trained to help your attorneys and divorce clients navigate the challenges of selling a home during a divorce. This is a special certification. Most realtors don't have it, but Jen Teskey does. So if this is something that is in the realm of where you are right now and it's stressful, get Jen on your side. Both of you are going to appreciate the fact that she's going to get this job done, and then you're just going to be able to move on with your lives. 618-541-1010. 618-541-1010. JenTeskeyHomes.com.
The IRS definitely ramped up operations since the pandemic slowed them down, and activity only increases from here. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. If you're currently under audit or you haven't paid your taxes in the past, now's the time to call the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS has a published Taxpayer Bill of Rights, which says you have the right to retain legal representation because IRS problems are legal problems, and the Lance Story Law Firm focuses specifically on addressing IRS issues for our clients. It's all we do. We get out in front of the IRS, devise the best resolution plan, and work to make sure you're able to take advantage of every program you're qualified to receive. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure company, call the Lance Story Law Firm. We're local, located right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-238-7360.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Listen to live Blackout-free audio from every major league club.
And Aaron Judge with some thump.
Stream video of minor league games.
That's a go-ahead grand slam.
And watch the best baseball highlights and look-ins on MLB Big Inning. The all-new At Bat is your all-in-one live baseball subscription for only $3.99 per month.
There she goes. Home run. Pete Alonso.
Subscribe to At Bat within the MLB app today.
Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
St. Louis physician Dr. Abicki created Neovitin 15 years ago to help support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Since then, Neovitin has helped thousands of people support their daily nutrition with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Abicki's proprietary blend. If you're ready to join many St. Louisans in supporting their nutrition, give Neovitin a try. You can find Neovitin at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness 101 for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness 101. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
Who's going to jail first, you guys? Hunter Biden, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, or none of them? That is today's Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. Let us know what you think. It's 1:51. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The voice for hardworking, free-thinking Americans.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Take all of your wasted on
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
every little past frustration. Take all of your so-called problems. Better put them in quotations. Say what you need to say. 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 Say what you need to say.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're grateful that you are here with us on a beautiful Thursday afternoon. The YouTube live chat poll for today, I haven't really mentioned it yet. Who's going to go to jail first? Hunter Biden, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, or none of them? It's too bad I didn't put Danny Masterson on this poll from That 70s Show. Do you know what kind of trouble he's in right now?
Yeah, it has to do with rape allegations, right?
Not allegations.
Rape.
Charged.
Okay.
He was sentenced today. 30 years in prison.
Wow.
Wow.
Danny Masterson, what was his name in That 70s Show?
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
It's probably in this article somewhere.
Not Kelso.
I liked that show. I watched it. I enjoyed it. Danny Masterson was sentenced to 30 years in prison after being Hyde. Okay. Danny Masterson was sentenced to 30 years in prison after being convicted of rape. Masterson was found guilty on 2 counts of forcible rape in May. The jury was hung on a 3rd charge during the trial after the 7 men and 5 women deliberated for 8 days. 30 years was the maximum sentence that Masterson could receive.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's a long time in jail. I mean, he's got to be mid-40s. He's going to be an old man when he gets out.
Yeah, that's pretty much the rest of his life.
I mean, too bad. Don't rape people.
That's what happens. Yeah.
Despite persistent harassment, obstruction, and intimidation, these courageous women helped hold a ruthless sexual predator accountable today, and they are not stopping there. They are eager to soon tell the fuller story of how Scientology and its enablers tried desperately to keep them from coming forward.
I was going to say, I thought that had to do with this story, but I couldn't remember. It's been a while since I read about it.
Fox News reports the judge heard impact statements from both victims before Masterson's sentence. One of the women Masterson was convicted of raping in 2003 said, "When you rape me, you stole from me. That's what rape is, a theft of the spirit. You are pathetic, disturbed, and completely violent. The world is better off with you in prison." The other woman Masterson was found guilty of raping said he, quote, has not shown an ounce of remorse for the pain that he has caused. She told the judge, "I knew he belonged behind bars for the safety of all the women he came into contact with. I'm so sorry, and I'm so upset. I wish I'd reported him sooner to the police." Masterson watched the women without visible reaction as they spoke. I don't know if that matters in court. You're coached to do that. He initially faced up to 45 years in prison if he was found guilty on 3 counts of rape, but by force or fear on alleged sexual assaults, which occurred between 2001 and 2003 in his Hollywood Hills home. These people that are in your living rooms on a sitcom who you don't know Danny Masterson. I don't know Danny Masterson. We know his character enough to have to think about his name, but we know that character from that show. But this is horrific, and the dude is done. And it's a good thing. I wonder how much play this is going to get in the news media because of its connections to Scientology. They're usually pretty good at
squashing it.
PR.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is the Hollywood system. This is these people just based on what is presented to you, and they do the same thing with issues. I talk about this all the time, that they will pick an issue and they will present that issue as nicely as they possibly can because they have great actors, great writers, millions and millions of dollars supporting it just to preach that message to you.
Despite my disappointment in this outcome, I remain determined to secure justice, including in civil court, where I, along with my co-plaintiffs, will shine a light on how Scientology and other conspirators enabled and sought to cover up Masterson's monstrous behavior. I think Leah Remini follows me on Twitter.
Oh, yeah?
The special that she did on Scientology is the only show I can remember in the last couple decades that I was like sitting on the edge of my seat on like a Tuesday to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Should we talk to her?
Heck yeah.
I'm going to try. I love Leah Remini.
Me too. I love that show.
From Saved by the Bell. We'll be right back.
I'm Ty Burrell, actor and small business owner. I'm going to show you my 5 steps for making the perfect radio ad. This one's about innovation refunds and the ERC. First step, be relatable. As a small business owner, I know that filing for the ERC tax refund can feel complicated and confusing. Also, I like pizza and puppies. There, done. Step 2, cold hard info. The ERC, or Employee Retention Credit for long, is a tax credit for eligible businesses that kept employees on payroll in 2020 and 2021. So if you qualify, Innovation Refund's network of independent tax attorneys could help you claim it. Step 3, call to action. Go to innovationrefunds.com to get started. Step 4, the jingle I wrote myself. Actually, scratch that. Just go to innovationrefunds.com or call 1-843-REFUNDS and go to Step 5. Legal stuff.
Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. We work with an independent network of tax professionals. Terms and conditions apply. Ty is a paid spokesman.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
If you're a business owner, a building manager, operations manager, office manager, you got a little bit of decision-making power, and you know that your air conditioning unit, your furnace has not been working great, I want you to put this number down, scratch it down on a piece of paper, 314-513-0091. You can call Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation to get a free second opinion on commercial HVAC repairs. That way you're informed. You get to make a good decision, an educated decision based on your needs for your business. You're not paying more than you have to. Air Comfort Service has provided residential and commercial heating and cooling services for over 50 years. They are a go-to for people who are looking for an opinion that they can trust and service and repair and installation that you can rely on. They are a 9-time recipient of Carrier's President's Award. They're named a top workplace by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch for the second year in a row with thousands of 5-star reviews. Give them a call at 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA-MCO.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan, president of McKelvey Homes. Founded in 1898, McKelvey Homes is celebrating 125 years with our inventory home sale. Get $12,500 off of all our market homes. Move in quick, lock in your interest rate, and get all the popular features and colors selected by design professionals. And for every home sold, McKelvey Homes will donate $1,898 to Dravet Syndrome Foundation. Visit McKelveyHomes.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A new strategy for the former president. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Lawyers for Donald Trump have just filed notice in court that they may try to move his Georgia election fraud case out of Fulton County Superior Court and into federal court, though stopping short of requesting removal just yet.
He has not officially said that that's indeed what he wants to do, that he wants to move to federal court, merely that he reserves the right sometime in the future to ask that his case be handled by federal court. There are 5 co-defendants who have indicated they are interested in moving their cases to federal court.
Fox's Jonathan Seri, one co-defendant, former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, is already awaiting a decision from a federal judge on moving his case. The Fulton County DA wants trial to begin next month for all 19 defendants, after 2 requested a speedy trial set for October 23rd. The Superior Court judge raising concerns about the timeline during a hearing yesterday. Just getting word that actor Danny Masterson is sentenced to 30 years to life in prison for raping 2 women about 2 decades ago at his Hollywood Hills home. Masterson, best known for That 70s Show, was convicted at a retrial in May. The jury deadlocked on a rape charge involving a 3rd woman. During today's sentencing, one of the women told Masterson he's pathetic, disturbed, and completely violent, and that the world is better off with him in prison. 1 week before a possible strike against the big 3 automakers, another offer is made and rejected.
General Motors offering most of its UAW-represented workers a 10% pay hike and a 56% increase in wages to newer employees over 4 years, plus bonuses. Though the contract proposal, according to UAW President Shawn Fain, still falls short of the union's demands, which also include pension and job protections.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. America is listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience, and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Excellent temperatures and humidity over the next several days, but the northwest flow will bring some hazy, kind of smoky haze our way due to the Canadian wildfires, but sunny and nice for the most part, 82. Tonight, mostly clear, some haze around 58. Friday, mostly sunny, 82. Do that again right through the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
One of my favorite partnerships that I have here through this show is with the Vitae Foundation, because they've got the answer right. And the answer is to make an abortion unthinkable. A lot of people out there trying to worry about the legality around it, but we need to help women right now in their time of need. That's where the key focus needs to be. And the Vitae Foundation is working tirelessly to do that. Right now, Tuesday, September 12th, Leandria Ratomski is going to be speaking at the Southern Illinois Pro-Life Dinner. It's the Regency Conference Center in O'Fallon, Illinois. Tickets are available right now. There is a registration and social at 6 p.m. There's a dinner and a program. It goes from 7 to 9. And these events are incredible. I've been to many of them myself, and you will enjoy an evening with people who are looking to help strengthen women, to provide comfort to women, and to help them get through a challenging time in their life that results in life. If you're interested, you can go online to prowomanaapproach.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Need a break from the sound bites and the talking heads? Do you want information you can actually use? Information that'll change your life for the better? Then listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Mark Cox here, inviting you to join me for Freedom Fest on September 15th at Sugar Creek Winery in Defiance. It's going to be a great celebration. Tickets are just $50. Get yours now while they last at stcharlesgop.com. That's stcharlesgop.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts Loaner Tool Program has more than 80 specialty loaner tools available to help you with your next repair. Refundable deposit required. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
You could be watching this right now. Tune into the Annie Frey Show live stream. YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Twitter. You know what? Just type in Annie Frey Show live stream. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
No.
you remember when if you watch the news, you'd find out the things that were going on in the news, and it wasn't just all about politics?
I mostly remember that.
Nightly news?
Yeah, kind of the way it was.
Before cable news, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember that, Brad? Or is it all politics all the
No,
time?
I remember that. I actually grew up without cable, so I didn't even have cable news to watch. It was just NBC, ABC, CBS.
I think we got DSS satellite.
Ooh.
Maybe in 8th grade? I don't know that it was before that. When did you first have more than 5 channels in your house, Ryan?
I think we got cable pretty early on. I'm thinking back. The only news I can remember watching from when I was a kid, was Walter Cronkite in the early 70s. No.
He's just on 300 channels.
No, it was Channel 1 in school.
I never had that.
Channel 1 News.
Of course you didn't.
I didn't have it.
You didn't either?
Nope. I went to Freeburg. Are you kidding me?
Well, it was their way of injecting ads into children's lives.
Propaganda.
That's all it was.
It really was.
I mean, it was Anderson Cooper and Lisa Lee. It was a bunch of liberal stuff.
I think, is it CNN 10? Is that what's on right now?
Yeah, some of the schools use CNN 10 as well.
I've heard several educators talk about it and say that it is a CNN product, but it's actually pretty much just news.
Yeah. Yeah, what I've noticed
they're like looking for it. And they've said that what is in schools right now, I think it's CNN. Is it called CNN 10?
CNN 10. Yep.
I think, and I've heard from people and politicians and stuff who are aware of it, and they're like, everybody's geared up to like dunk on it, and they're like, it's pretty much just news.
Can you imagine the explosion that would happen if it was Fox News 10 in schools?
And it was just news. It was the
news.
same content.
Same exact thing.
But it was Fox News.
Yeah.
So there's an escaped prisoner. Have you seen this prisoner, the video of this prisoner like scaling up the wall?
Yeah, it's kind of awesome.
Could you do that if you had to escape something?
If my freedom was on the line, I might be able to swim away from Alcatraz.
I would like to put you to the test.
No, thanks.
Pass.
We used to do that whenever I was growing up. Our hallway was just the right size for us to put our hands on the one wall and our feet on the other and walk ourselves up to the ceiling.
It's a lot of core strength.
Yeah.
Needed.
Yeah. A lot of core strength. I don't think that I would like to try that now.
No. What if there was a fried Twinkie on the other end of a successful scaling of the wall?
The other end being the ceiling?
Top. Yeah.
You had to scale it like The Exorcist, just up the wall and eat the Twinkie.
We're going to see what Ryan Wiggins is capable of by just putting a fried Twinkie at the end of all of the different obstacles.
Okay, here's what you do. If in that scenario, you're like, okay, I'm going to put a fried Twinkie hanging from the ceiling. You got to get it. I would ride up to it on my Segway and just knock it down with a ruler. And then eat it off the ground.
Like a cat on a Segway. But when did you get cable first time?
Oh man, I think we were in high school and we got Prime Star, which was
I've never heard of that.
It was a satellite TV, gigantic dish.
You're one of those kids that also played Neo Geo.
What?
Yep.
What's that?
These are like deep cut technological
Actually,
things.
I didn't have Neo Geo. I had TurboGrafx 16.
See, my
I don't know what
point
we're
is
talking
proven.
about. What is it?
It is a video game system. And
Prime Star.
It was the first 16-bit video game system, so it was like Sega Genesis style technology, and it was Bonk's Adventure was the game.
Where did it go? Did it get bought? Did it just peak at Prime Star?
I think it just went nowhere.
Yeah, it didn't take off, and Nintendo and Sega just ate it up.
You said you had it early, but how old? How old were you when you got cable? Guess. We don't know the real answer,
6.
so just make something up. 6?
Yeah, 6 or 7 maybe.
Gosh.
Late 80s. Because I remember watching
I didn't know that it existed.
MTV when 89 was going into 90, and I know we'd had it a few years before that. Because I remember thinking, oh, I'm 9 or 10 years old or whatever at that point, and this is a momentous occasion. We're leaving a decade. It's the first time I've ever seen this in my life. And VH1 and MTV were doing specials about it.
MTV's first broadcast day, August 1st, 1981. 20 years later was when I don't know. I wasn't even allowed to watch MTV. I don't know what they were doing.
Well, they were playing videos then.
Name things you weren't allowed to watch when you were a kid. We'll go around the room.
Beavis and Butthead and Ren and Stimpy.
You should have saved that for the second time around.
Oh, sorry.
Brad?
Nothing.
You could watch whatever you wanted?
Whatever I wanted.
And you turned into a pastor?
Yeah.
Got another one too.
Yeah, Mom and Dad.
Do you have one?
I have all day.
List shows you could watch.
My rebellion was being a
Jenny
good kid.
Jones when my parents were at work.
Jenny Jones. Oh,
Jenny Jones, man, Ricky Lake.
Ricky Lake, Sally Jesse Raphael.
Go Ricky, go Ricky.
Geraldo.
I never watched Geraldo. I would watch Ricky once.
It was
in a while,
never
though.
because you chose to.
It was because you get away with it.
It was because there's nothing else on.
Yeah.
Homesick in the middle of the day.
Simpsons.
I wasn't allowed to watch Simpsons early years either.
Knots Landing, which my parents watched.
Knots Landing. Why would you want to watch? There were a lot of adult shows that I didn't care to watch.
I just know that we had to leave.
Ah, okay.
Like Knots Landing was coming on, and kids, you had to watch it when it was on. You could try to tape it. It never went according to plan. Tape. That's a phrase that we still say, that people still say, that has no realistic application to the actual procedure.
Not really.
Anything else you weren't allowed to watch?
The Simpsons was one. I remember MASH being one that whenever it would come on, I didn't want to watch it, but there was something about it that made me go, "Ooh, I think because adults are watching it, I want to watch it." But the theme song was so depressing that I would just kind of leave. I wouldn't even try to leave. I would just sort of like slither away.
I don't know that we were forbidden to watch MASH either, but I don't remember there being a really good vibe about the show.
Yeah.
And I also remember being completely not interested.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of adult shows,
Friends,
70s, 80s sitcoms that my parents were probably watching that I just had no interest in watching.
We weren't allowed. I mean, Friends was huge in the 90s, and I was in grade school.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's not appropriate for grade schoolers.
Yeah, I remember watching Friends, but it was on for so long that I can't remember if I was watching it when I was younger or if I was watching it when I was older. But I just didn't care about the show that much.
Does Friends have a counterpart in 2023 that something like that exists? Because the thing about Friends that was interesting in that time, and if you grew up in a conservative Christian household like I did, it was not appropriate to have friends who lived across the hall and freely slept with whomever they wanted to sleep with and talked about all of that type of stuff. Like it just wasn't okay. But I'm thinking to myself, like, obviously, I wouldn't let my kids watch Friends today. And Friends today is problematic because of certain things that they did. Or
it had nothing to do with the reasons we couldn't watch it.
No, the kids can't watch it today because it's going to make them a phobe or an ist or something like that.
Man, I remember in college, so this would have been 2000-ish, 2001, right around there, sitting in a sermon. And this is in Carbondale, so it's all students. It's a pastor who's not a student and maybe one other person who's on staff, and then just all student ministry because it's just nothing but students. And him talking about watching shows like Friends. He didn't specifically say that was the only one, but he did target that one. He said, if you're watching shows like Friends, it's preaching to you a morality that is problematic because there are no rules to their sex. They just have sex with whoever they want. And he said, mark my words, this is not the end of that issue. This is where it starts, but this is not where it ends.
I wasn't allowed to watch Golden Girls.
What was the show Mama's Family?
Oh, I watched a lot of Mama's Family.
I did too.
That was on Channel 11.
But man, did that not age well. It was so fun while it was on, and now you watch it, you're like, what the heck?
Wait a second. Why?
It's just boring. You're like, the jokes are dated. It just didn't age. I don't know that there's any specific morality to it that didn't work, but
I loved Mama's Family.
When have you watched it recently, though?
I didn't watch anything recently.
Yeah, exactly.
No, there was just a standard that was expected in what the morality of said show was. We watched a lot of TGIF.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you think back on that, like TGIF, Family Matters.
Yep.
Home Improvement.
Full House.
Full House was part of that. Those are all shows that are about cohesive families.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea was at the end, family was the solution, right?
Family matters.
Shut up. I don't like how much you enjoyed saying that. But the point still remains. I mean, you'd get the mushy music at the end where the lesson was learned by whomever in the family needed to learn the lesson, and sometimes multiple people needed to at the same time. It was okay to have fun. It was okay to relax. It was okay to have conflict. But at the end, yes, family matters, and having a full house is good, and it's good to work on improving your home. Like all of these things that we grew up with, if you were a child of the 90s, the thing that gets championed now is kind of how you can glorify yourself in the dysfunction, not how to strive to be more functional.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's basically said, let's openly talk about what would have been an anomaly, like a different type of relationship, whatever that would be, and let's make that more normal and never show what would have been a nuclear family in the past at all anymore. It's very rare to find.
The interesting correlation that I can say, like what exists now, like Friends. I don't really know what exists that's in the same vein as Friends, but incredibly compelling that Tim Allen was able to revive the home improvement concept, switch the 3 boys with 3 girls, and have a family unit where family still is the most important thing, create Last Man Standing, which has been wildly successful on multiple networks because people demanded when it got bounced initially from ABC, which is a Disney-owned product. And Tim Allen is Buzz Lightyear. Tim Allen is Santa Claus. Tim Allen and ABC and Disney are supposed to be in lockstep, and ABC bounced Last Man Standing. And Fox was like, we'll pick them up. And it still continued to be successful, even in the midst of dramatically changing one of the main characters, which I think is Mandy, who 2 of the girls over the course of the run of the of the show, 2 of the actors of the daughters got changed. The oldest one early on, and then midway through, I think in the transition from one network to the other. I think it's the middle daughter. I loved her. I thought she was a great actress, but she had jet black hair. She reminded me of Audrey Hepburn a little bit. And then they replaced her with a girl who was 8 inches taller than her, blonde. Like, they could not look any more opposite of each other than the fact that they were both white. And they joke kind of write it into the story. Like,
I
wow.
love that.
Yeah, I mean, they
didn't
acknowledge it. They didn't shy away from it at all, but they just moved on. And it was still wildly successful. And that show is about family. And it is about, I mean, he's a conservative, like that's part of the story. The daughter is a progressive who marries an even more progressive Canadian. And so like the jokes kind of write themselves. But why is that show still so successful in this time when everybody else is doing the other thing? I think that's important.
Yeah, providing something that's A, different is artistic.
Right, I was going to say everybody else is doing the other thing.
And then B, providing something that's safe, that feels comfortable to people, even if they're not in those situations, it can succeed. That's why family-friendly movies succeed so well. I mean, they really do gangbusters at the box office.
Yeah, because people go.
Yeah, they do.
2 other shows that were listed here in the YouTube comments that I also was not supposed to watch. Roseanne, that's kind of ironic, and Married with Children. Did not get to watch that show.
There's a new show, newer. I don't know if it's on anymore, but there's one in this same era called The Middle. You ever seen that one?
That was a little post. I think
it's more recent. I think it's off now.
Like 2000s.
Yeah, well, I think even probably 2010.
Oh wait, that's with Patricia Heaton. I tried to watch that, and The Middle is supposed to refer to like the Midwest.
Yeah,
I couldn't get through it.
They very much are a dysfunctional but still cohesive family,
which is most,
which was pretty real. I thought the actors on that were really good and the writing was pretty good. I liked that show.
Yeah,
that was the more recent.
It lasted a long time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's take a quick break. Annie, are you okay? When we come back with Trisha, who's going to join us in studio, good to have her back, and see what kind of crazy stories she has for us. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. A regular crowd shuffles in. There's an old man sitting next to me, making love to his tonic and gin.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan, easy to access. Call 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. You can call that number. You can text that number. You can Google the Bagel Loan as well to learn more. Let me give you a little primer on how the Bagel Loan works for you. When you call Stewie and you say, trying to buy a house, they were recommending me go with this lender who is attached to my realtor, but I want to make sure I get the best deal possible. You can still go with Stewie. You can tell your realtor this is what you want to do, and they will accommodate that. Why the Bagel Loan with Stewart's American Mortgage? Well, first and foremost, when you qualify for the Bagel Loan, you pay nothing in closing costs that other lenders out there are going to make you pay for. That's going to save you 4 figures of dollars, potentially more as well. You work with Stewie, and he makes sure that you can generate your own pre-approval letters on his website once you've been pre-approved, so you don't have to wait on a middleman. You also can close in less than a couple weeks. That's fantastic. Reach out to Stewie and tell him Annie sent you at 314-324-4440. Don't sleep on this opportunity to save a ton of money, making that offer, hopefully getting an accepted offer on the house you want to make a home. 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
I'm Jack Wagner, host of the show Otherworld, a podcast that tells stories of real people who experience something paranormal or unexplained. Before Otherworld, I wasn't even interested in the paranormal. That changed when I realized how many people are out there who have experienced something extraordinary and never told anyone about it. I started this show to take a grounded approach to the paranormal, help people tell their stories in their own words, and encourage more people to come forward with their own. Listen to Otherworld now for free on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Updating your home with James Hardie's siding has never been more popular. With all of the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie's siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie's Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-981-4455. That's 800-981-4455. 800-981-4455.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands to treat ED at up to 95% off. That's right, the same active ingredient as the brand name for 95% less. It's the same ED medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. It's hot now, but fall is just around the corner. Make sure your furnace is ready to safely heat your home when the first cold snap hits. For a heating system check, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Odyssey.com is a universe of audio, and it's where you can download the app to stream 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it today and stream anytime from anywhere. Where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
Yes. Well,
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
of the night, it is her I'll be holding. I love you, Joe. Hey, that's what you say. You tell me, baby, please don't go away. But when I pray, I never stay. So every girl that I meet, yeah, this is what I say.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. When I talk about the Odyssey app and you want to rewind to hear something great that you might have missed, today I'm going to tell you to rewind to the 12:40 something time check.
Yeah.
It was magical.
Yeah, if we can still rewind, we should do that.
Can we still?
Can we still rewind?
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
You can use the chapter function and go back and select that.
Okay, I thought there was still like
Mm-hmm.
something. Yeah, it had changed
It's
a
not
little bit.
called rewind anymore. It's,
Is it still the same function?
Yeah.
Can they go back and listen to the
can
start
go
of the
back
show?
and yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you can go back and listen to the 12 o'clock.
If you missed it, what did it sound like, the time check, Ryan?
The
No.
ad
What did it
before
sound
it
like?
stopped, and then I said,
Do you know what he's singing?
No.
Do you know what that is?
No.
Does it sound familiar at all?
Mm-mm.
Can you imagine?
I got nothing.
Can you
What
imagine
is
what
it?
that sounds like if you don't recognize it?
she can. That's actually the only experience she's ever had.
I'm asking you to, because I know that. Yes, I want to drop for when we have Hans von Spakovsky on, when he makes a really good point. And I was trying to think of what the legal show is. What it turns out I was thinking about was the Law and Order.
Dun dun.
When he makes a really good point, I want to play that in the background if Hans is okay with it. But I was trying to think of what the show was. That's Matlock.
That's the theme song, the song to Matlock.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah.
Chris F says, let's not do that again.
I'm with you, Chris F.
That's at least the second time that we've done that in the show.
And now it's time to play Is Annie Okay With This?
I'm okay with Matlock, for sure.
F is for fail, Chris. Chris F, fail.
Chris fail? That's rude.
A new study finds modern cars are tracking and sharing your personal data.
Oh.
No surprise to anybody. The Mozilla Foundation sampled 25 car brands and found that 84% of those researched shared personal data, while 76% said they could sell that information. The data is collected based on overall interactions with your car, including apps, services you use, and any third-party sources such as SiriusXM. Of the brands reviewed, they found Tesla to be the worst, followed by Nissan and Hyundai.
I think the only reason they did this study was to dunk on Tesla.
I completely agree. I found about 10 other stories about Elon Musk and privacy issues, but they did do all the major car brands and found that they were all on the list. Annie, are you okay with cars collecting and selling personal data?
I'm not surprised.
Right.
I'm not okay with any of it. However, it's like I was talking about the Upside app. I've gotten real cash money back from using the Upside app, and I use it. And a lot of people are like, Annie, they're collecting your information and selling it. I'm like, yep. So is your vehicle. I don't know. There's going to be, I think if you went through each generation, they would feel very different about all of these things, which is one of the most ironic things to me, because I feel like the boomers are the most intrigued by having all of the lady devices. Alexa, I don't want to say her name and screw her. What are you thinking?
Lady devices.
I know, lady devices. I'm like, what does that mean?
Is it
Robot
just
lady
boomers that are
gynecologist
into
stuff?
lady devices?
This is a family show, Annie.
Yeah.
I only watched family shows growing up. I don't even know what you're talking about. Explain it.
You didn't watch Robot Lady Gynecologist when you were growing up?
No, Dad.
That show was sick.
That was on at the same time as the Rush Limbaugh show, and Dad made me watch Rush.
Yeah, it was on right after American Gladiators. You had to
I
stay
watched
up
that
late
either.
to watch Robot American Gladiator.
It's a Small Wonder.
I don't even know what the name of the show is anymore.
Small Wonder. Lady,
It was. That's what it was. I couldn't remember the name. It was
watched-
Small Wonder.
Yeah, I watched that.
I thought she was a gynecologist.
There
I
are
was
so
wrong.
many people. There's so many people in the boomer generation that do use all of that technology where you just talk to it and it's just sitting there listening to you, waiting for you to say hi.
Speaking of which, that's like the show Out of This World, where Evie was from a different planet and she could talk to that thing in her room and she could stop time by putting her fingers together.
Do you know that show?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
With the little box that opened up.
I didn't want you to think I was telling you to do something. I I took my index fingers in front of the YouTube camera and put them together, and Brad looked at me, and I saw you do
that some
some
sort
of
of
your hands.
new sign?
And I'm like,
Yeah, this
don't-
is rap.
Don't
This is
change
break.
it. Yeah, don't change
What does
anything
that
with
one
it.
mean? It means ET phone home. Get somebody on the phone right now. Call Tyrus.
No, I'm not okay with it.
No.
But, I mean, what's new?
Kroger offering customers $10 off groceries with in-store flu shots. Starting this week, all Kroger Mid-Atlantic stores will offer customers $10 off their groceries when they receive a flu shot in the store. Customers will receive the incentive via the digital coupon on their website or app. Annie, are you okay with incentivizing vaccinations?
I don't think there's anything wrong with incentivizing a flu shot. I mean, sans COVID, everybody would be going to Kroger to get their flu shot. Lots of people get flu shots.
But what about it? This one was interesting to me only because now in a post-COVID era, what if it was incentivizing the COVID vaccine?
Here's my stance on this flu vaccine, COVID vaccine, whatever. If you want to get the shot, get the shot. Get your butt out of my way if you're in a government position and you're going to tell me I have to. Don't ever, ever, ever do that again. And because I know a lot, Megyn Kelly, you sent me that earlier. Megyn Kelly just came out and said she regretted getting the initial shot in the booster, and she's got an autoimmune reaction to it or something at that point. And she was talking about how she regretted getting it. For you folks out there who are calling yourself purebloods, you are not helping the cause that you proceed to tell everybody you're a champion of. There are a lot of people who got the vaccination because A, they were scared into doing it, or B, they were going to lose their job if they didn't, and that's how they were providing for their family. They might have regret about that right now because they were forced into doing something and they did it for a reason outside of what was best for their health because they didn't have the knowledge. Everybody I'm describing here should be on the same side of the issue, which is the government should mind their own friggin' business. The next time it comes to, here's a shot, you should get it, you can't push that on people the way you did before. That is not the same thing as, hey, if you want to get this shot here, we'll give you $10 off your grocery bill. Those are very separate issues. And we need to remember that if somebody once is seeking out getting a flu shot, which I don't have a problem with flu shots. If somebody wants to get a COVID vaccine or a booster, I don't have a problem if you want to get that. But you're going to have to mind your own business when it comes to what I do with myself. No more mandates, no more pushing of it from an entity that is governmental, forcing people to get this type of stuff. You're going to have to stand down. So I just want to make the strong distinction there. The difference between a Kroger saying, hey, if you get your flu shot here, we'll give you $10 off your bill. That is an entirely different situation than people are talking about mandating vaccines again.
I figured out how I'm going to get my free $10 and maybe around a mandate too. And it was because of this show. Thank you all. I'm going to wear prosthetic boobs.
And ask for the shot.
I'm going to say, I want
in your
a shot in
boobs.
my boob.
Human skull found
What
among...
if one of them deflates? The vaccine is bad. The vaccine is
All
bad.
right, I'm going to grab my vaccine card or my $10 and I'm going to run.
You show up with them after you get the vaccine and be like, look what you did to
The
me.
flu shot's still sticking out.
Get needles all in my
running.
prosthetic.
Is this a side effect? Can you tell? Can
Don't
you really
do it.
see?
Don't do it, everyone.
Human skull found among Goodwill donations in Arizona.
Ruh-roh.
A suspected human skull was found in a box of items donated to a Goodwill store in Goodyear, Arizona.
How much did it go for?
The Goodyear Police Department said in a statement after speaking with the medical examiner's office, preliminarily, it appears this human skull is historic and has no forensic significance, meaning it's not associated
It's
to a
old.
crime. So it's cool. Annie, are you okay with people donating human skulls?
No.
What if they're old?
What if they're like really old and not associated with a crime?
I mean,
Yeah.
in some capacity, they're all old. But no. Also, have you seen this meme that's going around? You know how you have. I just turned my headphones up and I lost a few years off my life.
Whose voice was that?
I thought something was happening.
Why did I start yelling?
I was like, pipe down, lady.
Uh-oh, she's on a rant now.
That's so scary. Woo! Give me a second.
If you want to have that experience in your car, wait till she starts explaining whatever she's going to
was my
explain.
voice.
And
I
then
need
just
to
turn your
stop.
volume up real loud all of a sudden.
Yikes. There's this thing going around I've seen it on Facebook multiple times, but you know how in some kitchens you might have cabinets that meet in a corner and the corner is an actual cabinet space. It's kind of like a dead space. so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
If depending on the way the cabinets are laid out, people are putting those cabinets in their new kitchens or like rentals or whatever, but they're putting like Halloween fake skeletons.
Oh, that's not right.
Inside that dead space. So then in like 30 or 40 years, when you tear that kitchen out,
Oh,
there'll
that's
be a
awesome.
skeleton in there.
That's pretty great.
That'd be so
Oh, that's
horrifying.
amazing. They should do it with a real body, though, not just a fake skeleton. That really scare them.
Ryan.
They go, oh my gosh. And you'd be
Volunteers?
like, they got me.
Oh,
Little Issues recall of Paw Patrol snacks over X-rated website.
What?
Uh-oh.
Little Great Britain announced
Reminds me of a Ryan Wiggins story.
Little Great Britain.
LIDL. How else would you say that company name?
I think little.
Little.
Lydell?
There's not an extra E in there.
Lidley.
Either way, they announced it would be recalling 4 types of Paw Patrol branded snacks after
Paw
it was
Patrol.
discovered that the packaging contained a link to a pornographic website, according to the company's recall notice. The company labeled the website link as, quote, not suitable for children. And the company released a statement that said, we recommend that customers refrain from viewing the URL.
The customers is in the Paw Patrol customers?
Yeah, the Paw Patrol, the kids. Please don't look at it and return the product to the nearest store for a full refund. Annie, are you okay with products directing kids to websites in general? Like, why do these snacks need a website?
No, because my kids don't have access to that. And if you didn't, you can go rewind maybe on the Odyssey app to the beginning of the 1 o'clock hour. And Tyrus was talking a lot about technology, social media, kids, their ability to connect and share information outside. He referred to it many times as the babysitter. He says you got to kill the babysitter. And I think he's right on that. That they don't need to go to websites. One of the things that he talked about was games that people can play, the kids can play on phones that might be directed towards kids. The ads that are being served in those games are cartoons and filthy. And your kids are seeing them. Don't let them see that stuff. I don't like anything. I don't know. I think I'm super, super strict on this. I think I probably set the spectrum on how you can parent in this way as far to the strict edge of it that I can be. But I have never heard anybody tell a story about this stuff that makes me go, I should probably let up a little bit. It makes me want to be stricter. And I'm looking like, I don't really know how to be stricter on the issue.
It's just a weird. Do people ever go, man, I love Zuma and Sky so much. I want to look up the product history of Little Great Britain.
I think it was the Paw Patrol.
Okay.
The branding of Paw Patrol.
Well,
it was a web, and clearly these things happen as far as like the wrong web. I don't know how. Maybe they got hacked, but you can't control the internet, but you can control what your kids have access to. Hopefully.
Yeah. Check out more Paw Patrol at boobgate.com.
Right, exactly.
Those aren't real.
Wait a minute.
I don't
That's
think
my
so.
kid's shop teacher.
It's a grocery store in Europe, Trisha. It's Lidl. Liedullo, says Katie. Just so we know for the next story
Lidl.
that we do about this grocery store in Europe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Portland Public School District is considering a range of new equitable grading practices, including no longer penalizing a student's grade if they're caught cheating.
No.
This, according to a memo obtained by a News
Equitable.
Nation journalist. A handout from the school district said historical data shows racial disparities in students' pass-fail rates and instructs teachers to not assign zeros to assignments that are late or missing. If a student is caught cheating, they are to face disciplinary action instead of their grade being penalized.
Well, everybody knows how we feel about teachers in this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, love them.
Yeah, that was a question. You guys like teachers?
Depends on the day.
No, are you okay?
Sometimes they can be a real drag.
Mine's always talking about how unequitable the system is.
All the time.
Like, blah,
They
blah,
never
blah.
stop.
Yeah. Like, go to Portland, lady.
Didn't you
Teach
say
kids
didn't
there.
you say your pet name for your wife is woman?
Yeah.
Did you
She's a
upgrade the
lucky
lady?
lady.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to be nice.
As Ryan
Portland.
and Brad and I are all married to teachers, all 3 different people, also, I might add.
We're all married to the same one person.
Yeah, it's real weird, but it's Illinois.
It's Utah.
It's LGBTQ P for polygamy. The one thing that gets me about all of these types of mandates and initiatives is that when you listen to the teachers union, they're always teachers unions are not advocating for the students. They're not. It's not, they don't even really pretend to be. They're advocating for the teachers because they are a worker union. But all of these types of mandates that come out from lobbyists or wherever they're being pushed from, in many ways, it takes the ability of a teacher to do what teachers do best, which is connect to kids, reach out to kids to help them learn in the way the kid is going to learn best. You're trusting an adult in a room with children who need to learn a certain subject matter. The good teachers figure out how to reach the most kids. The bad teachers say they teach the subject matter and then they move on. And if you make it, you make it. If you don't, you don't. But every single one of these issues makes it so the teachers don't have a measurement as to how well they're teaching. And it takes away a good teacher's ability to see a kid who is cheating and redirect them so that they learn you don't get by in life with this type of behavior. Maybe they're not getting consequences anywhere else in their life, but they might get it in the classroom. And good teachers will see these kids who are troubled, who are not turning in their homework. Why are you not turning in your homework? Are you being lazy? Are you not doing any of your work because you just don't care? Do you have no goals in life? Are you a waste of space? Or were you taking care of your drunk mom at home and you didn't have the ability to study because you don't have anyone to help you, and you've got to take care of your siblings because you don't have a parent at home who is doing the parenting and you're doing it, and so you didn't get your homework done the night before? Parents will, or teachers will, in the absence of good parents, find these kids that are struggling and try to figure out a way to reach them. You can't reach them all, but all of these types of mandates that try to make it so that the end result on paper is everybody looks equal, it screws the kids more than anything, and it makes good teachers not able to do their jobs, and is a shame.
Yeah, the other side of that is too, it also robs those kids of victories. You don't ever get the thrill of overcoming some sort of difficulty or hardship that you have because they just remove the hardship from your life. So you get the same thing. You never have earned anything in your life, and you don't get to experience what that is and what that victory is like. And it, like we talked about this with the board, we think that we're doing the loving thing, and we're not. We're doing the exact opposite of it so that we feel good about ourselves, not that we're actually helping anybody.
And those kids who are in very difficult situations in life, who happen to be in school. School's supposed to provide structure, and school is supposed to provide expectation. It's possible that the reason those children are behaving and studying and not performing the way they're not performing is because nobody else has given them an ounce of expectation in their life. They have nothing to excel for. They have nothing to look to achieve because nobody cares enough about those children to give them an expectation and to hold them accountable for it. The school system, the education system should. And all of this stuff is woke bullcrap that is put in place so that somebody can campaign on something or get some extra funding on something and feel good about, because on paper, this, that, and the other, everything turned out equal. And in the meantime, you've completely overlooked these kids. And I hear about it all the time. And it makes me really, really mad.
Can you send me that exact story so I can use it in the Be or Not to Be tomorrow? Because that story is crazy and real, apparently.
Sure.
Great job, Ryan.
Spoiler alert. And a tease. We'll do the Be or Not to Be.
I'm gonna change the title though to be Portland schools let racial minorities cheat to let them get ahead.
Good.
Because that's what it is.
You can maybe work this out in between the show and the next one.
Let's do it now.
Instead of live on the air when I'm already 4 minutes past the break time. All right. Trisha, you got any more?
I mean, Wendy's is hopping on the pumpkin spice train, if you care about that.
Does that have to do with their cheeseburgers or their toilet paper?
Frosties and cold brews.
That's not offensive.
I didn't know if you like pumpkin spice.
Not pumpkin spice butt wipes, which is what you brought to us last week. Gross, dude wipes. All right, that's it. We got to take a break. And I'm not okay with those pumpkin spice butt wipes, but maybe Frosties. We'll be right back.
What should I do? So many eager young bunnies that I'd like to pursue. Now even though they're eating out the palm of my hand, there's only one carrot and they all gotta share it. I love love you so. Hey, that's what you'll say. You'll tell me, baby, baby, please don't go away. But when I play, I never stay. So every girl that I meet, yeah, this is what I say.
RulerFoods.com. That's how you find the Ruler Foods that's closest to you. And it's September, and I'm really excited to be partnering with Princess Storm to support the Princess Storm Diaper Drive. She does this annually for Hot 104.1, and you guys showed up in such an amazing way last year. Let's do it again. Go to a Ruler Foods closest to you. There are 10 Ruler Foods area locations now through September 29th that are helping collect your donations of diapers that you can purchase at Ruler Foods that go to the St. Louis area diaper bank. Ruler Foods has low prices on the brands you love. You can save on diapers as well. Reach out to them and start your shopping. You can get Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices. You also get the name brands that you shop at your regular grocery store on a regular basis. Go to Ruler Foods to save. You can get red or white seedless grapes right now, 97 cents a pound. You can get pork steaks, assorted bone-in chops or boneless thin pork chops, $3.47 a pound, and Frey family favorite Jack's pizzas, 2 for $6. If you are looking to save on your grocery bill, go to rulerfoods.com to find the one closest to you, rulerfoods.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Let's celebrate our freedom. Mark Cox here, inviting you to join me September 15th at Freedom Fest at Sugar Creek Winery in Defiance. It's going to be a celebration of our great nation in St. Charles County, the reddest county in the state. They're going to raffle off an AR-15 and honor local fallen patriot Jared Schmitz with a special bourbon. Again, tickets are just $50. You can get yours right now while they last at stcharlesgop.com. That's stcharlesgop.com.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. When you're injured and in your darkest hour, Onder Law is not only on your side, we're by your side.
Onder Law. Call 314 or 618-900,000 to learn more.
Who's going to jail first? Hunter Biden, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, or none of them? That is today's YouTube live chat poll. You can still vote. We're about to give you the results here in just a minute. It is 2:51. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Fox News medical contributor Dr. Marty McCary back with us.
The vitriol and the anger and the hell we put some of the unvaccinated people through, alienating them. We created never-vaxxers. Many of them had immunity already.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
I'm through with standing in line to clubs I'll never get in. It's like the bottom of the ninth and I'm never gonna win.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
I want a brand new house on an episode of Cribs and a bathroom I can play baseball in, and a king-size tub big enough for 10 plus me. what you need. I'll need a credit card that's got no limit and a big black jet with a bedroom in it. Gonna join the
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday already. The short week actually seems like it was shorter. Maybe it's because last week seemed so long.
Yeah. And sometimes actually, I think what you're saying is that most times these short weeks feel like a long time, but this one hasn't. So that's good.
It'll be Friday tomorrow. Looking forward to that. We always love having Fridays on the Annie Frey Show. So make sure you join us tomorrow between noon and 3. Who do we have for X's and O's tomorrow?
I don't have anybody yet.
Okay.
I'm still working on
I have
that.
a suggestion. We'll
Okay.
talk about that later. The YouTube live chat poll for today: who will go to jail first? Hunter Biden, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, or none of them? What do y'all think? Make sure you get to the Annie Frey YouTube channel. You got like 2 minutes to go get your vote in, and we are approaching 250 votes on that. 218 right now. We can see if we get to over 250 in the next 2.5 minutes. Ryan, what do you think?
I still don't think any of them will actually be behind bars in jail. I just don't think that we're going to see that. They'll continue to persecute Donald Trump, of course. Hunter Biden, the heat's turning up on him. I just don't think you'll see him behind bars.
I'm going to say Hunter Biden, and I don't think it's going to be with anything to do with everything that's going on now. He's the youngest of those mentioned, and his dad won't be president forever. I think that he will get into a drug issue later on in life, and he'll end up in prison for that.
Oh, that is a different take.
That is a different take and plausible.
Yes.
RSG says Hunter will not go to jail. Baby daddy will give him a presidential pardon. I agree with that. I think that Joe Biden will step in and he will do it in the name of addiction. He will, and it'll be a sympathy play. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. So when it happens, you'll be like, Annie was saying something like this was going to go down. I think the way that Joe Biden steps out of the race on his own is by pardoning Hunter Biden. And the question is, will he use his opportunity as the president while he's still the president to pardon himself as well? Amy has an interesting take on Hunter, says, I also think if things get too hot, Hunter will sing like a bird. If you've read any of those comments about Hunter Biden's laptop and the way he talks about his family, the way he talks about his dad, he is a deep-seated issue with his family.
Yes.
And if he felt like it, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he decided to sell people out.
What if he's the one putting pressure on Joe Biden to stall this thing? Like he's saying, Dad, if you don't get me off of this, if I go to jail, I'm talking and I'm telling everybody everything that you're involved in.
I can't imagine that that wouldn't just be implied.
Boy, that's all very fascinating stuff. And I haven't really thought about that angle.
Chris says, although my gut says none of the above, I chose Hunter. Let's see here.
Here's the thing about Amy Mazzara's comment, though. The heat won't get too hot on him. So it won't happen. He's not going to sing because the heat will never get that hot.
No, I don't think that that's necessarily true. Maybe from where we sit, it won't be that hot on him. But what is going on behind the scenes, we don't know. And everybody, just like Brad saying, everybody's going to be putting pressure on everybody, including Hunter putting pressure on Joe. Like, you can't afford for me to have to go to jail.
Man.
So drama.
Yeah.
Walrus says Joe's out of the running. Hunter perhaps, but justice system seems disinterested. The Don is the only one being pursued, so I went there. The YouTube live chat poll for today, Thursday, September 7th, is who will go to jail first? Hunter Biden, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, or none of them? Brad, your answer is
Hunter.
Ryan?
None.
I'm going to say Donald Trump. And here are the results as they are coming in here on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Joe Biden, out of 224 votes, Joe Biden has 0%. No one thinks Joe Biden, not a single vote. That's kind of crazy. This is very close. Donald Trump, 24%. Hunter Biden, 28%. 48% said none of them.
I don't know that we've ever seen a 0% on any poll.
No. Nobody is seeing Joe Biden go to jail. I don't think he would either. I agree with that. I agree with that statement, but I do think Joe Biden's in some trouble.
But he's going to age out of them.
What do you mean?
As in, like,
I don't listen to the Mark Rutten Show to find out.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere. Keep it right here on 97.1 FM Talk. The Mark Rutten Show up next.
I'm Ty Burrell, actor and small business owner. I'm going to show you my 5 steps for making the perfect radio ad. This one's about innovation refunds and the ERC. First step, be relatable. As a small business owner, I know that filing for the ERC tax refund can feel complicated and confusing. Also, I like pizza and puppies. There, done. Step 2, cold hard info. The ERC, or Employee Retention Credit for long, is a tax credit for eligible businesses that kept employees on payroll in 2020 and 2021. So if you qualify, Innovation Refunds Network of Independent Tax Attorneys could help you claim it. Step 3, call to action. Go to innovationrefunds.com to get started. Step 4, the jingle I wrote myself. Actually, scratch that. Just go to innovationrefunds.com or call 1-843-REFUNDS and go to step 5. Legal stuff.
Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. We work with an independent network of tax professionals. Terms and conditions apply. Ty is a paid spokesman.
Yeah. It's a masterpiece.
Well, I appreciate the feedback that you guys have given me on these people that I endorse. The best endorsement you could give me was just to visit Dr. Ty Parker and Fountains Family Dentistry in Fairview Heights. If you're anywhere in the Illinois Metro East or even on the Missouri side, easy to get to from Highway 64. They're right off of the highway, so a fast drive from no matter where you are. Fountains Family Dentistry is always going to be